Podcast 73 brought to you tonight in part by Daredevil Discs, Spinners on the Green, Dynamic Discs, and the Southeast Idaho Invitational.
Wow, we got sponsors here tonight, huh?
We do.
Awesome. Well, welcome everyone. As Johnny V said, this is podcast number 73. I'm your host, Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, joined here in our Smashbox studios in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm joined by Johnny V, the man at the controls. Really throwing them off there. Different intro here tonight.
We went with a different intro. We tried something. It's always, I like to keep people guessing.
I think more often than not, they're guessing when they're listening to us. We do have a great show, of course, lined up for you tonight. We just found out recently Dana Vici will not be joining us. I'm not saying that's why it's great, but Dana's not going to be on tonight, so we're going to give you a few updates and things from around the tour, and then we're also going to be joined by the tournament director that's kicking off the national tour this year, and that is, of course, Keith Murray over at Spinners on the Green. Keith and a Sierra Nevada rep in Ben Vandenberg is going to be joining us. I think it's VanderMeer, actually. He's going to be joining us, talking a lot about what's going on for the disc golf scene out in Arizona, as well as what we can be looking forward to at the national tour that, again, kicks off in just a few weeks. After we get done talking with those two gentlemen, we're going to be joined by JRay, Jonathan Ray, talking to us from the Dynamic Disc crew. He's all geared up. He's going to be talking about the 2-disc challenge, what it means, where you can find it, what's going to be going on with it, who's going to be joining them, and all the information you could possibly want. Forward to that. Lots of information tonight.
Multiple guests, multiple sponsors, multiple companies. We got a little of everything.
We're definitely keeping things feisty here. Excuse my hoarse voice. I've been yelling at kids all... No, I'm just kidding. I'm actually just been a little bit under the weather, had a little bit of a cough. So looking forward to tonight. We're also experiencing some of the worst weather of the year here in Wisconsin. It was somewhere around below zero as I just got out of the car a little while ago. Not exactly a great time. So that's why talking to Keith down in Arizona, where he told us it was in the 80s today, maybe that should warm up the excitement and everything else that's going on around here. So Johnny had mentioned we got a couple of great advertisers that have joined us tonight that are supporting us. We appreciate it, including the Southeast Idaho Invitational. We're going to give you some information about that event, and then we're going to be giving away a disc that they've provided. So thank you very much. All right, we're going to get to some of the action. This is sweet action from around the tour, but what I saw was the only B tier taking place in the country, taking place down in North Carolina. I believe Marty McFly was out there and recording it and releasing videos as we speak, so you can look for that action. But Chris Dickerson came out on top. He is rated 1,009, but he destroyed the rest of his competitors. Maybe Schwebe's chimed in on the board. We'd like some more info from him, but Chris Dickerson won by 16 strokes over this 4-round event. He was at negative 48 for the weekend, and it's negative 48 for the weekend, winning by 16 strokes. Second place, TG, Terry Gallops, and behind him was the beloved Brian Schweberger, the People's Champ. And, wow, I'd love to know how Schwebe, over 4 rounds, he was actually bested by 18 strokes when it was all said and done. So, solid play, clearly. I mean, Kobe was out there, Jonathan Mills, they tied for 4th. So, some solid players out there. We could go back and take a look at the actual stats. I already got rid of those, but I believe when you're talking about a 16-stroke advantage over second place, no matter where you are playing some good golf. So congratulations. Nice shooting, Chris Dickerson. And, wow, $430 for his efforts. Not too bad. One of the events that I can talk a little bit more eloquently about is the C tier, the tiny C tier I ran here in Wisconsin. As we said, the calendar this weekend was filled with a bunch of different C tiers and only one B tier. Mine was one of those little C tiers taking place in New London, Wisconsin, a tiny little town where I actually grew up. So I had some history there, and Scott Reek, a number of years ago, had passed the event along before he moved off to Kansas. And I was happy to take it over and play on this fun little, very, very short and deuce or die course.
Yeah, I've played there twice, I believe, at that event, and it is a deuce or die course. Last year, Matt Parker won, correct? Mm-hmm. Kind of surprising with some of our local favorites, and this year,
Well, this year, a little bit different. As Matt the Stat Parker himself would tell you, there has been 8 glass blown. There's been 8 snow blown opens, and there's been now 8 different champions at this tournament. So this year's champion, a smashy and a super all-around good guy, someone I've looked up to for many, many years, considered him a mentor and just honestly one of the nicest guys in Wisconsin, John Turlap, who is a Masters age player at the age, surprising me, at the age of 48. And he may be rated 964. I don't believe that for a heartbeat.
No.
Playing little C tiers like this are going to continue to make his rating drop. That's not going to help him. But John Turlap came out on top. He had the hot round, shooting a 13 under first round. And Matt Parker had finished with a 12 under after the first round. Myself had finished with a 10 under. And when there was a battle during the second round, but as we came down the stretch, John Turlap found his groove and was able to pull off the victory. So 8 years, 8 different champions at the Snowblown Open, and this year's champion is none other than John Turlap. So congrats to him. Great shooting. We had Parker finish second. My good friend Mike Schwieger finished tied for third after a hot second round. He had the hottest of all second rounds at 12 under with Ben Uvas, who's won before. And then myself and Adam Ladwig finishing in 5th. So good weekend, lots of fun, small turnout. It was in the teens and not exactly warm, but it wasn't cold out.
Yeah.
Low wind, but they had fresh snow up there. And for those of you who aren't familiar with playing in snow, it's different. It's definitely different. Conditions, different everything. So, and I'm going to rattle off because they were there. So I think it's awesome. I'm going to rattle off our winners in the other divisions. Kyle George in advanced. Ed Schroer, a smashy, who says hello and is helps support us financially. We appreciate that, Ed. Eric Crummy in intermediate, Lydia Nelson in intermediate women, Hart King in rec, and Haley King in rec women.
Nice.
So a father-daughter combo. I signed them up for the PDGA last week.
Oh wow!
And then they came out and won the tournament in their respective divisions.
Nice.
So thought it was pretty cool. Had a really good time, and I'd like to just wrap up that day after tournament play. I went to yet another putting league, and now I feel like I'm getting around. I think I've been to Charlotte's putting league. I've now been to the one in Illinois, the Zumbeer putting league, which we went to a few weeks ago.
Okay.
I went to an indoor disc night, which wasn't quite a putting league. I've been to another Milwaukee one that took place a few years ago. And now I was one at in Appleton, and all of them have been run a little bit differently. And this one was in indoor volleyball courts. And so there was a station set up at a line set up at approximately, I want to say it was 38 feet, and then one line set up at like 24 feet.
Okay.
And those were the different stations, and you still played to 11 back and forth with a random partner. They had an A pool, B pool split. So they kind of took the upper echelon putters and then the less experienced putters, and then they had them match up with one another. So it was a good player with a lesser experienced player, and that was kind of the methodology there. So another unique way to do it. What brings me to my follow-up to all of that is if you're in a putting league or you're going to a putting league, reach out to us. Post it on Smashbox's page. Let us know the format. Let us know what's going on, what it looks like, how many people are attending. Are you at breweries seem to be very popular across the country, which is understandable. Are you at a brewery? Are you in a gym? Are you at a YMCA like our friends just south of here, Josh David Moore? Wherever you're at, let us know. We'd love to know what kind of formats, what kind of things you're doing at your local putting league. If it's indoors, outdoors, whatever the case may be, we'd love to hear about all the different situations. But I had a really good time. And, Mike Schwieger, congratulations. He won it with one of the few females that were there in Deidre, who traveled from Minnesota to play in the event. So
cool.
Awesome time. Very good.
And before we get any guests on, I'm going to give everything a quick reboot here.
What?
Everything's a little choppy. So give me a couple seconds here. Literally just a couple seconds.
Okay,
and,
don't go anywhere.
Don't go anywhere. If you see us kind of start to spin, if you see that little spinny thing on YouTube, we're coming back. I swear it. Hold on 1 minute.
Fix and welcome back.
Yeah, everyone should be seeing us pretty quickly here. That was nice and quick, I think. Let's just make sure that everything is working. Is
Well-
is everyone loving us again?
What?
What? I mean, not that anyone ever loved us, including our parents.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that seems to be working. I'm not sure what was the issue.
I don't know. I think it was just something was hung up in the in the dealio because we were getting really choppy.
All right. Well, hopefully we're back and everyone's able to be tuned back in. Let's see if we can get.
We'll see if we can.
It is better, is what they are saying.
Yeah. See, it just sometimes things just require a good kick.
Wow, that is very interesting. Well, man, that doesn't happen all too often either.
No, it's a very rare occasion when things are like that. And usually, for some reason, it's tend to happen in the after show.
Well, either way.
Yep. So I'm glad we got things situated. We want to give our guests the best possible
Product
and value.
Yeah.
Say that with a straight face. Should we dial up Keith?
I think we should. We're going to look for Keith Murray here in just a moment, see if we can get in touch with him from Spinners on the Green. Of course, your pro shop that's got all of your needs right there next to all the water holes that you can find out at the Vista del Camino course. He's very strategically placed, we'll say, in what they're doing over there, which makes perfect sense. And in just a moment, we're going to be welcoming Keith and Ben.
Yep. All they've got to do now is just click that little video button, and here it comes.
All right. And so, without further ado, we've got Keith and Ben. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Hello. Guys.
How you guys doing?
Great. Yourself?
Good. So, we already alluded to it once. There's about a 90-degree difference between your locale and ours right now.
Yep.
You guys okay with that? I bet you are, huh?
I bet this is the last day of your long sleeves.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, Keith should be used to this. He's a Detroit boy. He's got that, the tat and everything.
Oh, I do. Yeah, the old English knee rocking. But I tell you what, I didn't like the cold when I left there. I still don't like the cold. So now 55 is pretty frigid to me. So I'm stoked to get it back into the 80s.
Thin Arizonan blood now.
Oh yes, I can't believe it's been 9 years already. So it's crazy to say that it'll be a freaking dime piece next year. I've been out here, and it didn't take me any time to acclimate, that's for sure. But,
Well, I'll say this, Keith, for those who don't know, Keith, as you said, moved out there 9 years ago. I knew Keith before Memorial time because you were an employee over at Discraft, so obviously you had some ties over there. And here we are, we're gearing up for another Memorial Championship presented by Discraft. Tell us about your transition and the role of being not only a part store owner, but TD and everything else that's going on.
Well, it just keeps me on my toes. Wasn't a big change. I'd been coming out here since '99, helping Dan and Sue Ginley for all those years and really kind of learning the ropes. I'd come out when Dano and Sue TD'd the 2003 Pro World in Flagstaff, the 2005 Pro World in Flagstaff. So really got to learn a lot. Specifically, I must say, from Sue, because really she did so much of the back end stuff. And that's why still to this day, I leave all the course stuff to Dano. So anybody has anything to say about the courses, the layouts, this, that, that's not me. Registration, sponsorships, you're missing something out of your package, I'll take that call.
Okay.
No problem. But yeah, so it was different on the scale of selling one disc compared to thousands of discs at a time, I guess. That was a big difference going from running the sales of a, worldwide sporting goods equipment manufacturer to just a, small retail location, but it's still awesome. I love hanging out, beautiful weather. Basically, I talk to my buddies all day about what type of disc to throw and where they're going to go play at and all the good new stuff coming out. So it's fun.
Well,
and way warmer.
And way warmer.
And way warmer. Yeah.
Well, and what I was going to say is you're talking disc golf. You're obviously in the shop there. And then for those who haven't experienced yet the Memorial, you have Vista del Camino literally just feet away, this awesome course to go play, along with Dukes, who's a big supporter of the event, but this great bar and grill that's in between where your shop is and where the course is. I mean, can you say it any more when you just say location, location, location? Like, what a great place to be.
It's amazing to where, we are the pro shop. Dukes is our clubhouse. Sits right on the course. You can sit on the back patio, dog friendly, watch many, many holes. And it's amazing the amount of traffic I get, folks that come over. Oh, I'm from Michigan. I don't think we have this in Michigan, and I'm like, oh, let me tell you about all the courses. But unless you go to the woods and check it out, a lot of times you don't see it. Out here, very wide in the open. Same thing with Fountain Hills. You can sit at Euro Pizza, enjoy some wine, some pizza, watch some golf from the patio. I mean, yeah, it's a great environment. So it really does feel like endless summer kind of out here. I mean, it's and that's why more and more guys are wintering out here. Dave's been wintering out here the last few years. Feldberg, Ricky has been in and out. Actually, Ricky, I just saw him this weekend. He's in town, and so it's a great spot to be. One year, Kale and Nico were here. I mean, I'm surprised I haven't seen some of the Michigan boys yet, because they usually come about 3 weeks early for the Memorial.
I would too.
Yeah, well, so what are we looking at? The 28th annual? Is that where we're at right now? 28? Yeah. 28. So 28th, turning for the event here. And the event has grown, it's evolved, it's done so many positive things. It kicks off our national tour. And some of the exciting things we see, of course, Discraft has supported it and been the title sponsor for all these years. But you're always getting more and more support. Why don't you introduce us to the man next to you and let us know what we can be looking forward to this year?
You got it, buddy. This is Ben VanderMeer, and he has been integral in supporting disc golf in the Valley of the Sun and elsewhere around here. We started with the Brewers Open, which was just a bunch of guys getting together wanting to play, and then kind of went from there. And so I'll let you pass over to Ben. Let him tell you what he does over there at Sierra Nevada and kind of what they've started out here.
First, thanks for having me on. Great to be able to hang out with Keith, and looking forward to some great stuff coming up. Being involved in, you can see behind us, we're all ready for the Memorial, ready to come out in a couple of weeks here. Enjoy some great weather and some beer. And I'm an area manager, for the Phoenix area, and working in some of these capacities to make sure that people know about our product and also reach out to communities like the Discraft, the disc golf community, and make sure that we're all having fun. Again, being able to sit out on the patio somewhere, enjoy a beer, watch some disc golf, and hang out. That's really kind of what we're in it for. So really looking forward. Keith and I have worked together on a few things. He mentioned our Brewers Open. This is actually an industry event. We have Arizona Beer Week coming up, and we've got a whole bunch of different breweries, suppliers, wholesalers, the like, that come out to Arizona during that time. And started about 5 years back. We just kind of started putting together an event every year that people come out. There was only about 60 of us to start, and now we're on a waiting list coming up this Monday. We've got about 60 teams. We've got almost 200 people out just to hang out and drink some beer and play some disc golf. Like I said, enjoy the weather, of which we have so much. Great weather here. So,
well, you're getting some love on the board. They're saying Ben rocks, that he tends to buy a lot of pictures at Duke's for glow dubs. So you've got fans already.
Yeah, that's a good way.
That's part of our great, Dukes and Sierra Nevada has been on board for our third Fridays night golf, which is something that started. God, we were just talking about it. It's going to be our second anniversary in July.
Wow.
We had 64 people out for one of these night golfs.
Wow.
Totally free to play. Yeah. All skill levels welcome. Come one, come all. We've had multiple first-time ever players, and we want that because it's just free. It's fun. We play 9 holes of night golf. It's all Sierra Nevada donated prizes. Ben gives us some great stuff. And, yeah, it just works out great. And they've also been our sponsor for the Shelley Sharp Memorial, which is the A tier we host in October. And so that's really what kind of started the relationship and just kind of grew into, it just made sense. With everything they're investing in disc golf, that we partner with them for the Memorial Championship, our flagship event, and, really highlight the guys that have been, supporting us.
Well, and that was going to be one of my thoughts there was, Ben, what got you interested in disc golf? I mean, spoiler alert, disc golfers like beer, but besides that, what kind of drew you guys into the sport? I mean, there's so many different sporting and athletic activities out there that are looking for support in so many different ways, whether it's, racquetball or the newest niche sport of slacklining or whatever. Everybody's looking for a sponsor. Where did you guys fall in line, and what drew you to disc golf, and what keeps you coming back?
Before I started with the company, I had never played,
Wow.
and the Brewers Open that I had mentioned came up, and getting on with the company, I needed to get ready, needed to learn how to play some disc, and my former boss and Keith are good friends, and just started coming in. Right, yeah, one of our discs that we actually have coming up for the Brewers Open.
Nice, okay.
Very cool.
And just started playing, got hooked, tried to put together as many events as I could to give myself the excuse of come out and play and drink some beer. And yeah, it's as you said, disc golfers like beer. It really it's the kind of outdoors community that we as a brewery really appreciate. We like spending time outdoors, hiking, and drinking beer and enjoying good music, and disc golf cats do that as well. So it's been a lot of fun to kind of get to know some of these people. Great group of folks in this local community, to see how far it spreads and how many people are involved. And it's just just really a great time. I can't say that my skill level's improved, but I've had a lot of fun. So.
Well, I wouldn't think drinking beer would improve your skill level either while you're out there.
It actually goes up.
Yeah, according to you, maybe.
It depends where you start, I think. If you're starting down here, that can kind of help.
So there's always something going on over there. Sierra Nevada, any specific things that you guys are going to be working into the event, whether it's the players pack or other special, whether it's items or things that you guys are specifically backing or sponsoring, or are you guys just a huge sponsor of the event?
This is our first year as the sole beer sponsor, and it's really been great. The community I had mentioned earlier, there's a great outfitter called Upper Park, based out of Chico, California, where our brewery was started. We started in Chico, 1980. We're a family-owned company, and Chico's a great spot. If you haven't had a chance to get out there, check it out. But Upper Park, we'd really like to thank them. We started working together, knowing that they are an outfitter. We put together some bags that we're actually going to have.
Sweet.
Really great stuff. Really, really well made, and this will get you through
quite a few rounds. Nancy donated one of the Rebel bags as well as 2 of the chip bags, and man, are these suckers nice.
Awesome.
$5 raffle ticket. You can actually buy the raffle tickets right on spinnersonthegreen.com. Supports the event. But we couldn't be more excited to have those guys working together, and Upper Park was just stoked.
Yeah.
No, it seems like a perfect mesh together. I mean,
it does.
And as you're probably saying, Ben, there's so many different ways that the disc golfers integrate themselves into the community, but yet, we're outdoorsy and enjoy so many, good music and good beer and all these different things. It just seems like such a no-brainer for the, everybody to get together on it.
Yeah.
So, Keith, what would you say are some of the other exciting attributes that we're going to see? I've already said it's kicking off the national tour, which everyone's excited about. It's one of the largest events in the country all year long, with this over $100,000 in payout. And you have, over nearly 400 people between AMs and pros? Or 600?
648, I want to say, is what's registered.
All right, so read off some stats. Give us some.
Spot open. So if you're 40, you're going to turn 40 this year, and you want to play the best event you'll ever play, sign up right now. DiscGolfScene.com. I think the way I shuffled it, I happened to get some guys in off the wait list. Somebody else dropped. 1 spot master.
Wow.
Just random.
There you go. Well, you heard it here first. Breaking news. 1 spot.
Sign up.
Tell them Smashbox sent you. 1 final spot. All right. What are some of the other things that we're going to see? Give us some of the highlights and the things that people should be looking forward to besides the amazing sun and the fun courses.
Well, we're going to have the NT clinic going on again after check-in. That'll be Tuesday after check-in. Okay. After the NT clinic, Ben's actually going to be heading up to Dukes, buying some samples for everybody and getting some folks to try out some different Sierra Nevada beers. Wednesday night, big players party. That's going to be at Boulders on Broadway near the Fiesta Lakes course in Mesa.
Great spot.
Ben's going to be out. There's going to be a Sierra Nevada takeover for that one. We have a $500 putting contest that we do for the players party. So that'll be Wednesday night at Boulders on Southern. Saturday for the finals. We'll have Sierra Nevada there as well.
At Euro Cafe.
Euro Cafe. Those folks over there are awesome. And burrito over at Euro Pizza. Those guys are bomb. So that'll be for the finals on Saturday. And throughout the week, there's just always something going on. It's spring training. That's another beautiful thing about the Memorial Championship. We're so close to the Phoenix Zoo. We're right in the middle of spring training. There's so much to do. You come play a round, and you either, celebrate the good round or,
or you drown away the round.
Or you drown away or you go see a baseball game. We did that one year.
Yeah, exactly.
But, there's something to do. But yeah, so basically it should be exciting, One exciting thing we're going to go ahead and get going is basically without the support of the guys over at Discraft, this event would be impossible. Though they do so much for us. They provide so many great things. And if we ask them for something, it's usually yes and how many. So having a partnership like that.
We should try that.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yes and how many.
Yeah.
It's never a bad answer to anything. But yeah, so basically it's just going to be another huge, exciting, fun week of disc golf, wrapping up with the Memorial Hangover Ball Golf Scramble on Sunday, which is always
something going on.
Yeah.
So you had just alluded to it, 640 people. That's only possible due to the 3 courses. You guys adding Fiesta Lakes last year. So obviously that added the capacity a little bit. Any other changes? I guess that's not even a change. That's something that's a constant. But anything else that's different or out of the ordinary? I know we were earlier talking a little bit about the Fly Mart and check-in actually might be located down near the normal hole 1, so to speak. Is that true?
Yeah, we're going to do check-in down there. We figured we're renting the park anyway. Our neighbors love us here, but it does make it a little tougher when you get 600 people coming to town now, So next thing you know, this parking lot's packed up here, and logistically, it's really nice to be near the shop, nice to be near Duke's. But we figured we're renting the park anyway. Let's utilize the Ramada, the pavilion down there, and take away some of the headaches. They got plenty of parking. We don't have to worry about anything.
That's great.
We're going to move down there, smooth that out a little bit, and then it also opens up more room. With our normal Vista course, hole 2 is wide open for more of the NT clinic, so it even works out a little better for that aspect as well. So we're going to move that down there. Another change we went to this year, which actually has been so well received, especially probably because after the last couple of years of weather and headaches, have been going to the PayPal payouts. Or at least a selection of PayPal, or we'll mail you a check the week after.
Okay.
No checks to be handed out, anything like that. Been so popular, even so that I've had other TDs contact me and being like, what's the feedback? I'm like, folks love it. 3/4 have signed up with PayPal or, requesting to PayPal if they cash. So that is going to be really nice.
Yeah, because with an event of that size, as we all know, there's a ton of people that cash, and they got to kind of wait till the final putt drops and all that other stuff. So, to not be standing, it's great to kind of have everyone gather at the last few moments there. But if the weather's less than awesome, like haven't been blessed with the last few years, it's nice just to say, just PayPal to me and it'll go out. I would assume that you guys are committed to sometime in the next couple days when that goes out, or within the week.
Oh, for sure. It'll happen within that the next few days for sure. The PayPal, of course, will be done immediately, easy breezy. And then the checks will go out, in those following days as well. But
awesome.
Yeah, even contacted PayPal. Luckily, one of the TDs that contact me made a mention of how are you going to send them. Contacted PayPal, explained the situation. They said friends and family's fine, so that way tournament's not taking a hit. Since they paid the fee to sign up, we don't have to, charge a fee to send
Wow,
it.
yeah, because we had talked about that earlier, and I said how many of the players are. I know it's like 2% or something like that.
2.9.
2.9%. I'm like, it's minimal for most players, but if someone who ends up cashing out big, so that's great. That's great to hear.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear that there was a contact made with them.
We would have eaten it at the event too. There's no way I would have charged the player a
Yeah.
fee. It would have come into it, and that's kind of how I explained it to her. We're a small tournament. Every little bit counts, So if I'm going to send them payout, I'm certainly not taking the fee out of there. And she was like, "Don't worry about it, friends and family." And
Great.
Thank you, Tiffany. So
that's really good news. Yeah, no, and that's good. That's good news to know moving forward, because I think a lot of as a lot of the disc golf world operates in the world of PayPal, buying things online, swapping with friends or looking in the various Facebook groups or wherever. PayPal's the way to go, and so that may answer a few questions that are out there, which is awesome to hear.
Apparently, from the Super Bowl commercial, it's the new money.
Yeah,
That
too.
Might have found a new sponsor.
Right? Hey,
Yeah, there you go. I think we knew a guy who used to work there or something. Might be involved with the PDGA still. Anyway, so Upper Park, you said obviously they've been making great strides in stepping up and being sponsors at other events, and you're tying into this. You're working with them. They have the limited edition bags that they're working with you guys on, so that's cool to see. You've got to be working on other merch. I mean, sometimes we see. The memorial's kind of been traditionally known. It's got a
known
reputation
for releasing usually some sort of new plastic the past couple of years. Are we gonna see something like that maybe?
Maybe not.
Chatter. There's been chatter. Nothing I can, say officially just yet. As a matter of fact, I was just talking to Bob Julio earlier today. So there is definitely some excitement. The boys in Michigan are working hard. They may even be up late watching this, hopefully. But,
we hope so.
Yeah, I mean, it could very well be something fun in there. I was actually just checking out, some information on a prototype that sounds pretty interesting. And then actually got my hands on another certain prototype over the weekend. That was kind of cool. So that might be something else to maybe get excited about. That may not be something provided to players, but could be something debuting.
Or at least available. Sure.
That our friend Scott Kesey was messing around with. So our good friends over there at DGA.
Sweet.
So
now,
there's all kinds of exciting stuff going on.
Now,
it's amazing that all this good stuff. Oh, we do have one good thing coming out. Limited edition Z Flex Glow roaches.
What?
Those are going to come out on Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, say it 5 times fast. That'll come out Friday. Get them first on spinnersonthegreen.com, but they'll be released overall everywhere on Friday, so the rest of the country will probably start getting them mid next week. But yeah, that'll be pretty awesome, man. We're pretty stoked for that as well. But that'll be coming out as a fundraiser early, kind of like they did the ESP Glow heats for us.
Okay.
Right now. And we have titanium heats. I got a couple hanging back here. Titanium. ESP Glow, they're awesome. Those are on spinnersonthegreen.com, and they're on sale now, but also use Smash 15, and anybody watching tonight's going to get 15% off the sale price. So and all that goes to the memorial. So everything you can do,
nice.
It's amazing when you look and, see what it takes to put on an event of this size.
So that's Smash 15, right?
Huge, right?
Smash 15, not Smashbox 15, Smash 15.
Smash 15.
Perfect.
Exactly. Yep. Smash 15, and use that online. It's available now, and like I said, they're already on sale, but that's gonna be an additional 15% off for all the viewers. So really appreciate you guys having us on tonight for sure.
Awesome. Now, you guys a few years ago moved to the player pack. You moved with a huge player pack, including a bunch of different things. Ben, did I hear there's gonna be a beer coupon in there? Did I hear that earlier or no?
I don't believe so.
You should put one in there.
You know what?
That's just your players pack, Terry.
Oh, okay.
For the Dukes, we'll work on tasting some beers with you.
Oh, well, there you go.
Out there, Keith will be out there, be hanging out, having a good time. So we'll definitely be out there drinking some beer. Kind of reflecting on the clinic and check in and everything else. See how everybody was playing day of.
Can I get one sent back here?
Yeah.
As a beer for everybody. And then even last year, Boulders on Southern was our new sponsor with being near the Fiesta Lakes course in Mesa. And so they had a $5 off coupon in the package too. And most guys use that at the players' party, so you can expect something like that as well.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. And where I was really going with it as well is, a few years ago when you guys went to the trophy-only option and then you really jam-pack that player pack, whether it's prototype discs or a handful of discs, usually, or whatever. I mean, I've seen great things every year. That method has seemed to work out pretty well for you guys. And you were kind of one of the first to really adopt that model. And I remember
at the large events, for sure.
Everybody kind of wondered. I remember as a tournament director myself, I cringed a little. I'm like, I hope it works out for them.
I got a 5th place amateur trophy over there from the memorial, so I'm pretty happy about that. Nice little basket on the trophy only.
Yeah, so clearly people are enjoying it. And you're also so unique in that the event for the A tier, for the amateur side of things, is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then everybody can stick around and watch the finals and the final round of the professionals on the NT on Saturday. What a unique structure that's really not duplicated anywhere else. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday play down in Arizona. I don't think you can beat that.
Yeah, that was something that we really, the main reason that came about was the AMs would finish and be like, what hole do you think they are? You know, and just like take off to the other course.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're going from fountain to Vista or Vista to fountain, you know,
Yeah.
and typically back then we probably had the guys stopping at Vista, I
Sure.
guess, right? Yeah, the pros finished at Vista really for Saturday back in the day
Yeah.
when we first even that layout. So yeah, all the AMs would just be racing to kind of catch the end. And we just said, you know what, it just makes sense, you know, because at that time we were starting them a day later.
Yeah.
Pros were going Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. AMs were going Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So at that point we just said, man, you know, why have these AMs running all across Hell's Half Acre trying to get to watch the last few holes? Let's roll them back. And man, it worked out perfect.
Yep.
And going back to the player pack, actually, you know what's crazy is that was, I want to say 2008.
Wow, was that long ago?
Right? I mean, crazy to think. And really the big thing was, well, for one, we thought, you know, you get a lot of stuff, and basically we wanted to give a lot of stuff to 100% of the AMs.
Yep.
You know, instead of that top 40%, or actually at the time it was probably 30%, wasn't it? Oh, no, it was probably 40% then, now 50% now.
Yep.
Then, so instead of giving it to just those top, we want to give it to everybody. But like JB said, what a great little trophy, right? It's a mini basket. You get a DGA mini basket, you know, so we really want to kind of be like, all right, here you go, amateurs. We're going to give you all your, you know, payout right here, right now, just for coming out. You are a winner, you know, and then based on your play, that's going to, you know, be kind of a battle for pride, whatever the case may be, but also a sweet little trophy. Or if you're lucky enough to get first, a full-size chain star with a custom DJ number plate. So
Nice.
I did not get that.
You did not.
Man.
You did not. You're not a top AM.
I was close.
Yeah.
It was like 3 or 4 strokes only.
Okay. So Ben, naturally, anytime we see a world-renowned, recognizable brand or product come into disc golf, everybody gets super jacked about it, as we should. Whether it's, you know, Adidas with Paul McBeth recently or whomever, we're seeing these, you know, recognizable brands jump on board with disc golf. Everybody's going to want to know, how does Sierra Nevada get involved with them, maybe on a more local level if they're not in the Phoenix area? What would there be a protocol or a chain of command to go through, or how would someone who, you know, was interested, maybe a local tournament director like myself, if I was interested in working with Sierra Nevada or finding a way to convince you to get on board with disc golf in my area, what would you recommend for that?
You know, this grew so organically. It's kind of difficult to think of a way to, you know, to package it. I would say it's worked so well because, you know, I do love coming out and supporting. It's on my own time, or if I can book promos around this, that's what makes it so much fun. You know, I do play, again, not well, but I'm getting there, and it's just a great time to go out and actually be able to engage not only just, you know, other folks that enjoy playing disc golf, but also consumers. So I would say, you know, if you somewhere in your hometown, if you are lucky enough to have a rep, a beer rep, a Sierra Nevada rep, go out, talk to them. You know, we've got a lot of great success that we've seen here doing these events and the sponsorship. It's something to reflect on. I'm always happy to talk to people, be it here in Arizona or anywhere else I travel to. But yeah, you know, it's there's a lot of opportunities. Reaching out to, you know, maybe the brewery itself. Might be an opportunity, but yeah, here we've had a lot of fun, and it's been really successful because it is such a partnership and a unique kind of, you know, from the ground up kind of approach. So
well, and that a lot of these guys too get to know your local bar owner. You know, without Dukes,
Yeah.
and Al McCarthy, and his daughter Jackie.
Yeah.
You know, they're the bee's knees,
Yeah.
and without them, I would have never, you know, gotten into this mix if I was just some average Joe, probably. You know, I mean, granted, too, like Ben said, he does love playing disc golf, so that works well in our favor.
Yep.
But,
So-
yeah, if you have a place you hang out, you know, find out where they get their, you know, Sierra Nevada from and start from there.
hang out in bars more often.
Yes.
Yeah, wow. That's our pro tip of the night. Hang out in more bars more often.
Or semi-pro.
It's worked for me.
Tip of the night.
Yeah, and while you're there, drink Sierra Nevada. I mean, it sounds like a no-brainer.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Well, we've seen, you know, craft brewery. We've seen every different level now of, you know, some kind of beers getting involved with disc golf, and there's yet to be one negative thing, you know, on the board. Everybody I've ever talked to loves Sierra Nevada. I've never heard a bad, you know, review of it whatsoever. I'm not as hardcore of a beer drinker, but I hear everybody that ever references Sierra Nevada says something in a positive light, which, you know, goes a long way, which is awesome to see. we thank you guys for being involved, in any capacity. I think it, again, when a brand like yourself is so recognizable and disc golf's attached to it, we kind of all elevate one another. And I think that's one of the most exciting parts about it. So we appreciate it. Thank you, Ben. So with that, Keith, any other details? I know you talked about spinnersonthegreen.com where they can use Smash 15. You guys have got to be doing other fundraising. You're helping put so many different events and activities on. If they wanted to go out and support the event or support what's going on, spinnersonthegreen.com or give us where they need to go and what they need to do.
Yeah, that's our main. Spinnersonthegreen.com has pretty much links to everything, whether it be what's happening around the Valley or Arizona in general, but all the fundraisers. Like I said, you can buy raffle tickets right there. But anything that you can, that's why the fundraisers work so well. We have these guys priced to throw because, one, the Heat is by far the best disc ever made.
Of course.
This thing, it's amazing. It's like Glide 100 if I had to put a number on it. If you got a little snap, it could be a little more turnover. But I tell you what, beginner, pro, Hall of Famer, man, this sucker has a spot in the bag. So I was just like, I want ESPs, please. Sure, here you go. How about some glow? Thank you. And
Nice.
then next thing you know, I was like, what about TIs? And oh, sure, why not? Yes, thank you. So yeah, those guys are available on spinnersonthegreen.com. Price to throw, but they do make great wall hangers. I mean, look at these bad boys. They're
Gorgeous.
So,
Yeah.
and then you do have ones more limited. The Sierra Nevada. This is the Ultra Bez. This is stuff that you're not going to find online. It's produced for Sierra Nevada, used on the giveaways for third Fridays and such. But one of the things that you guys will be giving away tonight, part of one of your trivia questions. So actually, you're going to be giving away one of each of these tonight.
All right, well, hey, without further ado, we've got a couple things to wrap up after that, but let's do a giveaway right now since you mentioned it.
Let's do it.
Which one of those are we giving away? You got one of those stashed somewhere? Which one are...
let's go ahead. You want to start with the Ultra Bez?
All right, the Ultra Vez, here it is. For the first person, this is our giveaway time. For the first person to answer on the board correctly, we're going to use one of the questions provided here by Keith. I'm going with his second question, which was, what year was the godfather of the Memorial Championships, Dan O'Ginley, inducted into the PDGA Hall of Fame?
I think I already know who's going to win this one.
Who should we say it can't be? And I'll give you guys a hint. We talked about this, actually. We had a few references a few weeks or podcasts ago. And, whoa, holy cow, that came in quick. Quicker than normal.
I think, if I saw correctly, I think we have a winner.
Nice. This beautiful Ultravez Super Color.
Who did you see it with first, though, Johnny? And again, this
Is that the right answer right there?
Let me see.
The highlighted?
No, my eyes are getting bad, apparently.
Oh, really?
That is not the right answer.
Oh, show me the answer then, because I thought I saw it. Oh, all right.
Sorry. So everyone knows per our podcast that we go by the first one on
The first
our
one that we
screens.
see, and I'm scrolling.
It has been entered. The question is, who had it first?
I think I'm seeing this one first right here.
That's what I saw as well.
All right, so our winner is, we're going to make Kyle Groff.
Kyle Groff, yes.
The correct answer was 2008. Congratulations, Kyle. Kyle, you can go out to our website, smashbox.tv/winners, and you can fill out that little form there to give us your information so we can get that to whomever needs to so we can get this out to you.
Yeah, we'll turn around and actually forward it to Keith at spinnersonthegreen.com. But so go out there, smashbox.tv/winners, and put in the information, and we'll forward it on to Keith and make sure that he has that. So before we get to the other giveaway, we got some other exciting news that we were talking about earlier today. Conversation, of course, around Smashbox, the live coverage, everything else. Last year's opening round was awesome to see. Every round was awesome to see. We debuted our 2-camera coverage for the first time ever, so we were excited about that. But this year, you've kind of formulated what you feel would be a solid opening card. Are you ready to announce that here and now, Keith?
I don't see why not.
Okay.
This
All
year's
right.
Super Group, we're excited. It should be a great time to watch out there. We always love to reward our folks that have done well here in the past. So to start us off is our 2015 champion, Big Germ.
Big Jeremy Coling, last
card.
year's champion.
Yep. So 2015 champion, looking to come out strong and start another season off with a win. And he's going to be going up against, the guy that won everything else, the Grand Slammer himself, Paul McBeth. So McBeast will be next up on the card there. Then I decided to go back to what we did, I want to say, was it 2 years ago, maybe even 3, but we're going to include not only our amateur world champion, but he was also our U.S. amateur champion, Team Spinner's own Anthony Barella will be part of that card there. And how could we not salute what I think was the biggest moment in disc golf last year? And that would be by putting Mr. Nate Doss on that super group card to start the Memorial Championship. His ace, first disc golf highlight on SportsCenter Top 10. I mean, that's awesome. And not to mention being the first to then kind of steamroll into more and more as the summer went on. How great was that? So
It was certainly
really excited for that Wednesday round. That might even get me out of the shop and following. So I'm excited.
Well, that's the best part. You can sit in the shop and just watch us from there.
That's right.
You know what? Actually, that is true. Even though I'm so busy usually here, I don't get to watch the computer.
Just have it on in the background.
There's no sitting that week. I'm
That's
lucky
true.
to sleep for 3 hours a night.
Well, that's awesome. We're excited to be out there and obviously to do what we're going to do with that great group. All very just amazing competitors, and very well could be easily be the winner could come out of that group.
One of those could be the winner.
We just talked about it. Anthony Barella just won an event out there a few weeks ago, did he not? Taking down
Yep.
Paul Ulibarri in a playoff out at Fountain. Is that what happened?
I tell you what, man. I mean, that kid is wow. At one point, what's so funny is that not only does he look like a little McBeast, he at one time was concentrating on baseball more. I mean, we're really looking at a miniature Paul McBeth here. I mean, he's not to mention the nicest kid I know.
Yes.
This guy and the whole family. We sponsor his mom, Trina Letting. She's like the number one player, the female ranked in Arizona. So, I mean, it's just so great to see a young kid like this come up, do well, and just be so gracious about it. I mean, nothing against Ricky or anybody, but Cam afterwards at the Super Bowl, you don't want to see somebody take a loss like that, So, I mean, you want to see a kid like this that, if he's having a great day, he's happy. If he's having a not so great day, he's happy. If he's having a bad day, he's happy. So we could be more excited. So, yeah, I mean, he's great.
Yeah.
This kid has game.
He's got game. He's, as we've already said, he took second to Felberg this year, and now he beat Yuli. So going 2-1.
He can back it up.
Yeah, in his first 2 events here of the year.
The Worlds. Isaac McDonald's a great player. I mean, he came out here and did he take down? No, he was in the running for the putting championship last year. I mean, he is just, he's a solid player. And so to watch that battle go down and stay composed and really put on a show, we got some great young talent coming up in the game. It's pretty exciting.
I remember we were sitting at Fountain after the event, and there's a bunch of people, including Stokely and this was a couple of years ago, and there were a lot of people, and Barella's just running back and forth, throwing as far as he can and sprinting to get his discs and run back, and he's just sitting there watching and just taking it all in, and you could tell right from there, it's like, this kid's going to beat me within a year.
Or now. Yeah.
No, it was within a year back then.
Yeah, no, I haven't been able to, I don't know if I've ever been able to keep up with him, because I swear to God, as soon as he picked it up, he was crushing.
He was
he
off
lives
and
behind
running.
the course. So, it might not be the longest course out there, but that's why he'll play from one corner to the other. It's crazy.
So, of course, we're going to be live, but you encourage, we'll go ahead and give the PSA. We want as many spectators out there in person. If you're within a few hours of there, come join us. People are welcome all 4 days of the event. We'd love to see as many people out there, especially on Friday and Saturday. Saturday being out at the Fountain course, where there's already a ton of spectators that just come in from the community that are always checking things out. You're talking about the 5th largest water structure in the U.S., or is it the largest water?
At one time it was the top in the world.
Okay.
But that was many a moon ago, but I'm not exactly sure where it stands now, but it's up there.
It's a beautiful venue, great place to be. So if you can be there in person, of course, we'd love to have you in person. If you can't, you get to watch it on Smashbox. So you guys are encouraging as many people as possible to get out there to check things out at the Fountain. Hopefully we get as many of the amateurs that wrapped up on Friday and get as many as we can out there. We're looking forward to that part.
they had 201,000 for the Waste Management Phoenix Open this last weekend. I know we're not going to quite get there, but it's starting to look. By hole 18, it's amazing the gallery that winds up being out there at Fountain Hills, and it's awesome. Like you said, the locals, the AMs, the people that want to come spectate. Love to have you out. Always looking for volunteers too, because once again, next to Discraft, second most important thing in this tournament is the volunteers. Because otherwise it'd be me calling people off and then running to spot hole 1 and then running back and then running to spot hole 2 and wait a second. So without these guys taking weeks off at a time, it's not something you really think about when you come to play a tournament. I mean, granted, you took a week off to play it, but then you don't think about the local that took a week off work that they're just getting Memorial merch.
No, they're hanging out. They took a week off of their time just to ensure that you're having a good time. And you're exactly right. Accolades to all of the people that have tirelessly done that throughout the years. We've become friends with so many of your volunteers and just amazing staff and people out there. So maybe the last question that I've got for you, is there any way we can top the drama and the madness that we saw last year, as Coling with that putt, Macbeth with the putt right to follow? I mean, that was ranked as one of the top 5 moments in all of disc golf last year. Is there any way you think we could top that this year? Any more drama?
You know what? I mean, it always seems like, how do we beat last year? How do we beat the Great Flood? How do we beat the guys walking into that water? Remember that? And then it was like, as crazy as it was one of the most wild things I've ever seen in my life, and exciting. But and then then the playoffs just go nuts, and then the scorecard, and I mean, it's there's one thing after another. It just seems like every year, I don't know if it's people still kind of frozen, they're knocking the rust off from the winter, but it's definitely, or people are just so charged up to get the season going that they're really excited to get out there. Everyone has been practicing for this. Again, like I said, we've already got some Swedes here. We got some of the top players in the world here practicing already. There's a reason, Awesome. I mean, they really can set the tone to the year. So I think that, doing well at the Memorial is certainly something. I mean, it was always on Kenny's. I mean, that was one thing that he says he, wished he always had done. He's gotten the Masters now, but that was one thing that he could never take an Open Memorial Championship. So it's a pretty big prize, and not to mention it's been around there for a while. So it's exciting to just kind of, be one of the older guys out there. Not me personally.
No, not you.
But
you're not old.
The event,
It is.
Been around, and so will it be exciting? More so than ever.
Awesome. I agree. I mean, and pointed out on the board as well. Yep. Talked about the Doss Ace, which, like you said, was such an epic moment, and Macbeth's Big being stolen. Now, clearly not a positive moment from that perspective, but just the storyline that
just in
developed
general,
around it.
I mean, think about it. In the past couple of years, we had Macbeth's 17 under at Fountain. Then you had the flood. Then you had last year with the playoff. Then you had the Will Schustrick issue.
Scorecard playoff.
I mean, the Memorial is always filled with surprises.
Yeah. Well, we're excited. Ben, do you got any parting shots on your end? I worry you made too many friends here tonight.
You're gonna start seeing some people at the Memorial kind of hanging around, waiting for you to buy.
Yeah, exactly.
I can imagine that. Come out and earn your beers. Actually,
there you go.
I'm looking forward to seeing you guys there and meeting all these new friends. It's always a great time, as I said. It's one of the reasons to do this. Go out, hang out with some people, enjoy the outdoors, and some great beer at the same time. So. All
right, Keith. Any parting shots before we get to our second and final giveaway from you guys? Any parting shots or thoughts you have?
Hashtag Memorial Saturday. Start using that. Hashtag Memorial Saturday. We want to see pics of, we had so many folks get together and watch the live broadcast, in groups, So get us pictures of your groups. Hashtag Memorial Saturday. They got Super Bowl Sunday. We're taking Saturday. So
great.
Hashtag Memorial Saturday. We're going to do a bunch of giveaways for folks. So Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, I don't really do the Snapchat, but do it anyway because it's just going to get out there.
Terry's got you covered.
Tinder, Grindr, we got them all covered. Yeah, they're all.
That's right.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right. So before we let you guys go, what was the other disc you said, or the other item we're giving away?
2 more. We actually have both a TI Heat and ESP Glow Heat.
All right. So maybe we'll give them their choice. or do you want to
Sure.
do?
Or-
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to give them their choice, and here
Yeah.
we go. I'm going to make sure Johnny V knows the answer
I
as
know
well.
the answer this time. All right. Yeah, I
So
knew.
we're
I
looking,
knew that one. Anyway,
we're looking
so.
for the full phrasing here. And so here we are in the 28th Memorial Championship. What was the original name of the event? So that's what we're looking for, is the original name of the event before it was, I'll say it was shortened to the Memorial Championship, but what was the original name of the event?
Let's say all-encompassing.
Yes.
Yes.
There you go. And just a few seconds, we'll, you got to be, not the Players' Cup and not the Shelley Sharp Memorial Championship.
Nope.
The Masters, no. Bob Roberts Memorial, no, I believe that's Colorado, TAFE.
Yeah.
This is a little bit of an older school answer, a little bit. You've got to kind of know, not the Masters, not Frederick Memorial,
Nope.
not Discraft Presents, no.
Yeah, that's
but
kinda what it
Discraft
is now.
The sponsor. The Spring Fling, no. Wow, I'm shocked we're not getting.
No. What was it called? Go
I'll give them both the disc.
go out to the PDGA.
I'll give them both the disc. They tell us what year they changed it too.
Ooh,
That would be tough.
Double down.
Well, it's not
not the
PDGA.
Fountain Hills Open, no. So,
Nope.
wow, nothing to do with Fountain Hills.
It was. I'm gonna go with the clue here. It was named after somebody.
Yes, we will go there.
So it was.
As to this not dragging out as long
Yeah.
as I thought it would.
Yeah, I
Wow,
thought.
yeah, I'm surprised.
I am quite
I did,
surprised
yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
Good like that.
No, not a new question.
It was not the Steady Ed Memorial.
Not the Terry Miller Open.
Nope.
No. Wow, I'm really shocked by this. I'm a little disappointed even.
Yeah, this is. Oh, I mean, we got young viewers.
We do. I guess that does prove that.
How long has it been called the Memorial?
Well,
Yep.
Now you're gonna stump me. I want to say we changed it in 2001.
2001. So
Yeah. I'm trying to think if I had a disc around here, but
it's not. Everyone's answering the Shelley Sharp. It's not the Shelley Sharp Memorial.
Nope.
Let's see here.
I'll give you guys some clues. The name also is associated with something Brian Schweck. There it is.
I've been 2002 or 3.
There we go.
There. All right. Marshall Kuhn
Marshall Kuhn, thank you for finally saving us.
nailing it.
The Bob West Memorial.
The Bob West Memorial.
And also named after Bob West is the Sportsmanship Award. We've seen Barry Schultz, Brian Schweberger, just to name a few, who have been honored with such an award. So the Bob West Memorial is what it used to be called. So, again, reach out to us. Was it Marshall Kuhn,
Yep.
you said?
Smashbox.tv/winners, WINNERS. And go ahead and fill that out. If you're a winner, there's certain information in there that you need to put in there, so not just anyone can fill it out.
Yep.
So, Marshall, go ahead and
let us know. Would you like, what were the options again, Keith?
You can do a titanium Memorial Championship heat or an ESP Glow heat.
All
There
right.
you go. We've got options.
So, Marshall,
If
let
you
us.
watch it, take your pick. Or
Yep.
you can see them both on spinnersonthegreen.com.
There you
There
go.
you go. Yep.
All right,
Oh, yeah.
gentlemen, we appreciate
Sorry.
appreciate the time. We appreciate all the information. I think this has gotten plenty of people jacked up online. Everybody's wants the event to start tomorrow. I'm not there yet, so we can't. But
No.
we're
I want it to end tomorrow. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
But no, people are jacked up, and
It's a crazy week. So as much as it goes by so fast for me. As much as I love everybody coming to town, I feel like I blink and I didn't see anybody.
yeah.
You know, so it's kind of a bummer that it's like, oh, wait a second, it slows down and now everybody's gone. So I can't wait to see everybody, but I wish we could hang out longer while you're here.
Well, we're all glad to be there, and we're excited to get down there. Look for Smashbox live broadcasting every day while we're down there, as well as trying to bring you up-to-date podcast each night and wrap-up shows.
Yeah.
We're going to be working our tails off like we did last year, and it's only fitting for such an amazing event and such a great time and a great place to be. So for us over here at Smashbox, we're going to let you guys go. Thanks for joining us,
All right.
Ben, Keith. I'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
Sounds
Sounds like a
great. Can't
plan.
wait. Later,
All right.
baby.
Take care.
care, guys.
Have a great night.
Be awesome.
All right, and as we said, that was Keith and Ben over at the headquarters there for the Memorial Championships.
Right at Spinners.
Right at Spinners on the Green, conveniently located literally just feet away from the Vista del Camino Park. In just a second here, we're going to be dialing up JRay, or Jonathan Ray, as
JRay.
Yeah, everybody really just calls him JRay.
Yeah, he travels around the country quite a bit, and everyone just kind of knows his name as JRay.
All right, before we get to him, we're going to actually give you a little preview of what you're going to see as we're talking with Mr. JRay. Here it is, right here on Smashbox.
Dynamic Disc 2-Disc Challenge is a great opportunity for new players and skilled players to come out and experience Dynamic Disc in a new way. You get to come out and pick out any 2 discs from our lineup. As a vendor or disc golf shop or even a club, there are a lot of advantages to having us come in. We're trying to get to areas where Dynamic Disc hasn't been as exposed as it has in other parts of the country. So we want to help generate new customers for you. If you already carry our plastic, yes, it might hurt you in sales for one day, but we're helping to create new customers and repeat customers throughout the years.
By you coming here for the 2-Disc Challenge, you're just increasing the popularity of the course. You're going to help my retail business. When you leave, I'm still here. It's a win-win situation all the way around for us.
If you want to reach out to us as far as scheduling a 2-Disc Challenge, you can email me at jray@dynamicdisc.com. Also, we have the Chasing the Chains Facebook page where you can find that information as well about our schedule and where we're going to be. It's a great experience for people to get to come out and kind of learn our plastic at a very reduced price, as well as have some fun, you know, in a loosely tournament-based atmosphere. So we hope to see you guys out there.
And welcoming to the show, Jonathan Ray of the 2-Disc Challenge and the DD, one of the many DD RVs that are rolling around the country. How are we doing tonight, buddy?
I'm out there now.
How's it going?
Guys?
Good on our end. Rarely does anybody see you in just one spot for more than a day or so. So where are you at now and what's going on?
Man, I am home for the first time in a long time. I got it back into Memphis last night and spent most of January in Florida. I was down there with Tyler Searle for a little bit, running some 2-disc events. We were at the Southwest Florida Open and came back had a huge turnout in Atlanta with Jeff Michael. Last Sunday, we had 93 players show up for a 2-disc challenge. So that was pretty awesome.
Awesome. So the 2-disc challenge now, how many years in are we? 2, 3, 4 years?
Man, I want to say that Steven Story is who kind of spawned the 2-disc challenge, and then he did a whole year out on the road, which it's easy to get burnt out doing that in one big stretch. But yeah, now Tyler Searle and myself, and then Matt Lloyd out of Arkansas have all kind of taken over. I spent most of last year doing it, and now we've got 2 that are going to be on the road full time, and then Steve O's RV will be in Texas.
Okay. And Steve-O, speaking of him real briefly, we saw, I think we talked about it last week, him opening the new store down there in, is it Carrollton, Texas?
Carrollton, Texas, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe it looks like he's stationed, he's positioned somewhere for a little time being right now anyways, right?
Absolutely, man. They're stoked about that new spot down there and the move, and so the shop looks great. We're excited about it.
All right, so for you, what was the 2-disc challenge experience like? Kind of break down or highlight or overview what this last year was like for you as somebody that's so instrumental in it.
Last year, it was an incredible experience, honestly. I was in 45 states since April.
Wow.
So we put about 60,000 miles on that new RV, and I got to make some awesome relationships, friends and family all over the country, and obviously we followed the national tour a little bit. And so this year we're excited. It is very much a casual, beginner-friendly tournament, mildly based tournament environment. So it's just something great where if you're an advanced, intermediate, even pro-level player, you can come out and experience our plastic, obviously at a discounted price for a couple of discs, and you got there's some strategy that goes into it. You can choose 2 discs that are going to stay in your bag for a long time, or you can choose 2 discs that you can utilize well on the course you're at that day. So it's a lot of fun.
Now, when you were at these different locations, did you see primarily a local group that wanted to come out and play in it, or did you see that, well, there were a few locals, but then people were really kind of converging there? They're traveling from all over the area to get to wherever you were at.
Yeah, it's interesting. Sometimes you're in places where it's primarily just local groups. I've run some where people have traveled 4 or 5 hours to get to them. So it just depends on where you're at. There are a lot of places in the country that are more starved for attention, and to have a company like ours, or or any, a lot of the companies are doing different things like this. They had the Flying Circus, and Paul's done some cool things with Innova the last couple of years. So, it's just great for everybody to have that opportunity to come out and get to experience some of the big manufacturers and some of those players in town.
So I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit here. Where do you feel like was one of your best pockets, not just necessarily in terms of business, but your best disc golf pockets that you really enjoyed, or if you thought, well, if I was going to, retire and have to stay in one area for the next 10 years playing disc golf, this is an area I'd consider home. Where was that?
Oh, you're going to make me hurt some people's feelings.
I mean, there's one right answer, that's Wisconsin, but besides,
Yeah.
no, but go ahead and pick anywhere. I mean, I know you traveled to a lot of great places.
I experienced so many cool places. Two different answers for this.
Okay.
One was an answer, the Northeast was somewhere that I was blown away by.
Okay.
There is such a culture of disc golf up there that I just had no clue about. We had some unbelievable turnouts up in Maine and Massachusetts and places like that we were real shocked about. So we were stoked to get to be up there. But I love the Pacific Northwest.
Okay, fair enough.
Portland, Northern California, Seattle, those were all awesome places to hang out. And made a lot of great friends up there. Met a lot of good players.
So I've been around enough of the DD, whether when I was in Colorado or all over the country, or running into yourself. Just how ripped did you get this year, loading and unloading those bins a few hundred times into that RV?
Man, I feel pretty good about everything except, the weight that I get in my face and my stomach.
Me too.
Yeah. But no, it was, some days it was rough, man. When you got rain and you're loading that stuff 4 and 5 times a day. So, but yeah. I can throw pretty far for an old fat kid. So.
Now, is there a number? Is there a goal in mind? You just talked about 60,000 miles and all the different places you were. Do you have any kind of goals or specifics in mind for what you guys might be trying to achieve, or cities or clubs or parks that you hit this year?
It's more about us finding places where we don't have as much exposure.
Okay.
Obviously last year we'd been on the West Coast before. Steve-O was out there once. But we had just kind of gotten away with that. There's a lot of other issues on the West Coast as far as making sure you have proper licensing and insurance and things like that. And it's not only the state, but then you have the county and this municipality and clubs and things like that you got to go through. So, but definitely trying to zero in on places where we just don't have as much exposure, so that we can get our plastic in some new players' hands.
Now, I know it was briefly touched on in the video, and it can be a legitimate concern out there. You guys aren't trying to come into an area to take away a bunch of business, being that you're DD, and in the Trilogy family and all that. You're trying to do just as you said. You're trying to grow the exposure and the growth, and expand the knowledge of what the products and the offerings are. But you probably ran into a few hiccups when you got into areas, like you said, licensing and being able to sell at certain parks or run events. Who usually is helping organize that stuff? Is it the local club and organizer, or are you guys doing some of that legwork ahead of time with the municipalities and the clubs?
We do as much of that as we can. A lot of times we have to depend on local resources to kind of point us in the right direction as far as who to talk to and what their experience has been. So we always want to make sure that we are completely legal when we're in your park. But yeah, when it comes to vendors, this is about growing the sport as much as it is anything else. We have as many new players that don't play tournament on a regular basis come out to these things because they're so casual, fun, friendly environments. But when we come into town, yeah, we certainly don't want to cause any issues with vendors or things like that. We want to embrace them as our vendors, as well as have them come out, be a part of this thing, help us promote it, because we're in town for just a day,
Yep.
And we are able to put plastic in people's hands that most of the time they really, really enjoy. So when we're gone, they have somewhere to buy it, which is right there in their backyard. So it helps us a lot to be able to work with the local vendors.
Now, one thing that has been joked about and will probably come to fruition is the little media grudge match, EMAC
yeah.
and Bobby Brown, me and Johnny, amongst a bunch of the other media crew. I'm calling it right now. There should be an RV matchup. I mean, you guys, against like you said, you mentioned the Flying Circus or the guys over at Discmania. Joe Rotan's rolling around in his Innova van. I mean,
nobody wants to compete against Simon in anything. That kid's good looking. He plays guitar. He's awesome at disc golf. It's just not fair.
And I can vouch for JRay. I got to play with him this year at Manitowoc in the Park. We played at Rolling Ridge, and you can crush. Like I've seen you throw, and there's not a lot of big holes there where you really need to unload, but the one or two that there were, JRay can throw.
Yeah. Wow.
So.
I could just putt.
Okay, that's true. I can vouch for that too. If JRay could putt.
So that actually does lead to another good question where people like myself and Johnny V and others that have taken on these other roles of doing other things in disc golf, because we're not going to be world champions, is it tough to not play probably as much as you used to? I mean, you're doing so much work. Everyone says, oh, he's probably got a dream job. He gets to travel around the country and play disc golf and work for a disc golf company. But we all know you're not disc golfing probably nearly as much as you would probably really like to be.
Most definitely not. I play far more when I'm at home than I do when I'm on the road.
Exactly.
But it's a question I get asked everywhere. How do I get your job?
Yeah.
You have the best job. And the truth is, I love my job. It's awesome. I wouldn't change it for anything. I worked with four walls around me for a long time and enjoy this a whole lot more. But yeah, absolutely, man. It's great.
It's funny, and that's something I've obviously gotten for years as well. Oh, you have the greatest job, and I'd love to do what you do, and you probably just like play disc golf all day. It's like I play less disc golf now than ever before in the previous 20-some years. I used to play 30 to 40 tournaments a year, and I'll be happy if I get in 4 this year. And they'll probably have to be in winter and ones that I'm running, so it's not quite as fun.
The good part about it is that I get to play most of the, a lot of the bigger stuff. So sadly, I'm not prepared for it when I get there. But last year I was Beaver State. What else? GBO,
Silver Cup. We saw you. Yep.
Cup, Fort Steilacoom, and then Ledgestone. Got to play a lot of the USCGC, a lot of the bigger ones.
Yeah, well, then a lot more than I did.
Yeah. Well,
no,
I'm taking time off work to do that. Actually.
Yeah.
Okay. God, time off. That would be something to do.
You should talk to your boss about that,
Yeah,
Terry.
I should. The big jerk that he is. So, what are some of the things, if people are coming out to an event this year, is it necessarily the plastic that should pull them in, or the casual atmosphere, or the price, or a combination of all those? What are some of the things that you see that keep pulling people in to come, or what would you say should pull them in to one of these two-disc challenges?
I mean, I think it's a combination of everything. The fact that we're there, I'm there, Ty, Matt, whomever. This year, Drew Gibson will be there, some with us. Yep. It's having that firsthand knowledge of our plastic and us being able, we all started somewhere else. We've all thrown a lot of different plastics. And so, we don't get offended when somebody comes up and asks us, what's a destroyer that you guys have, And so we're there to answer those questions. It's just a lot of fun. We try to put on a good show everywhere we go. Obviously, GBO is a testament to the hard work that we put into our organization and what we believe in. And so the RV is just is us carrying that over, kind of taking it to the streets as opposed to you guys coming to them for you.
So you just touched on a really good point, which was Drew Gibson, and obviously we had him on the show a few weeks ago.
New to DD.
He's obviously going to have a huge impact over there in joining the team and doing all the things he's going to be doing. But he spoke a lot about you, and I don't know if you're prepared for this, but it sounds like he's going to be in that RV with you quite a bit this year. Are you ready for that?
Drew and I go back a little ways. So, I agree with Dana, too. I think he's probably one of the best high school players in the country. No, me and Drew have a great relationship. I think it's going to be really good. I mean, as long as he brushes his teeth, like that.
Personal hygiene, keeps up on it.
Personal hygiene's a big deal in the RV.
Yep, I bet.
No, I'm excited about it. Drew's excited about it. We couldn't be more stoked to have him on our team. Drew's an incredible golfer, good person. He's definitely a character on and off the course. So, we're stoked to have him out. He's going to be doing some clinics that we're going to set up at some of the Two-Disc challenges along the way. So he'll be with me up most of the West Coast trip, and then probably some on the East Coast as well.
Well, and it's going to be great because it's going to be a slightly different perspective in that he's obviously toured around with some of our top pros, whether it's Paul and Cat and Ricky or Macbeth or whomever. You know, he's had quite a bit of travel experience, but still is relatively young. So there's going to be probably different pockets of the country that he'll be a little more versed in than yourself. So should make for a good combo.
Can he drive the RV with a learner's permit?
I think he's got to sit on something to get out there.
I know. It's a little bit bigger than that little rice rocket thing he's got.
Oh, yeah.
And then having an asset like Drew, though, I mean, all jokes aside, a guy that drives that far, you know, with even mid-ranges or putters, but he's able to drive that far. His putting game is coming around. You know, he's going to be your own, you know, ambassador and teacher and promoter right there that you can always just reference him. I mean, Johnny V here says you drive far, but I'm going to guess Drew throws a little further.
Oh, yeah. Drew's got me, for sure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, talk about an awesome resource and an awesome asset and someone to have with you, you know, anytime you're in the RV.
Absolutely, man. And, you know, and I think it'll be good for Drew. You know, Drew, I believe wholeheartedly, if you look at Drew's stats from last year, Drew was one average round away from being a top 5 player in the world.
Yep.
And so we're excited to have him, and he's focused and excited about this year as well. So it'll be great to have him there.
On the board, they're asking if you can talk to Drew about those glasses. Those have become kind of one of his signature. I mean, that's what's on his disc, for crying out loud.
I don't think he's losing those anytime soon.
I don't think he can now. I mean,
No.
Yep.
It's his poster child now.
So are you guys going to have any sort of social media presence or blog that people can follow you on your little adventures?
We will. You can. We've got the Facebook pages. I think we're going to create a special place as well on the website, and then you can follow it at thedrewgibson.com as well. But dynamicdisc.com, Chasing the Chains on Facebook, all will have the information. And now, like I said, we'll have 2 and/or 3 RVs out on the road most of the year. So you'll be able to see all those schedules, and they'll all be in different places in the country. And if people are wanting to get in contact with us as far as setting something up or scheduling, they can always email me or Tyler Searle, either one, Matt Lloyd.
That's great, because I want to hear more stories about guys that come up and, you know, they can only throw 700 feet. Do you have anything that goes any further?
Yeah, that was awesome last week. One of my favorite stories of the year.
Yeah, and I want to see pictures if you guys get pulled over too. So
Well,
Ruskell might not like that, but
you guys need to talk to Matt Lloyd. He's got a great story about his first week on the RV.
all right. When we see him, maybe at the GBO, we'll try to get that out of him.
Definitely. It's best to hear it in his little Arkansas twang too. It's funny.
So what would you say if you get one that's, well, I guess we don't have any real filters here on Smashbox, but what would you say was one of your, you know, standout moments that you experienced last year, whether it was personally or that you just saw, you know, that you saw happening elsewhere, or something with yourself, or what you guys had going on? Any standout moments, that one or two maybe that jump out at you?
Well, I mean, I just think it was awesome to see how it grew throughout the year. You know, I was leaving straight from GBO with the new RV a week later than I was supposed to, because it just didn't get finished in time. Mm-hmm. So we took off. My first stop was in 4 inches of snow in Colorado Springs, and but then we ended up having a canceled stop and ended up in Salt Lake City, and got 119 players on 2 days' notice. It was pretty incredible.
Wow!
So that's another hotbed for disc golf. We got another new guy that you guys need to look out for, Chris Telesbo, that's down there. That's a pretty awesome player.
Okay.
But yeah, man, we just did a lot of cool things. I mean, my highlight of the year was definitely Beaver State. Will be a tournament that I will be at as often as I can, as long as I can. So that's just a very, very cool environment. And then obviously GBO.
Yeah, and GBO was intense. We ran into you. I think we showed up. It was right around 1 or 2 a.m. after driving all night.
Yep.
We had showed up. It was just before 2. I remember it was just before bar time, as some refer to it, I guess. And we showed up at the host hotel, and you and some other friends were just coming in. You guys had a good night out, and it was a couple days before the event, so things were pretty relaxed and loose out there. And just from then, like, everybody just hit the ground running, And earlier in the night, I think that might have been that same night when Paige was out
Bowling.
As she was throwing.
Yeah, I believe that was that night. Yeah,
so I mean,
yep, we saw that video. Like when we were one of the first people to see the video.
Yeah.
That night. You know?
Yeah. So lots of different activities going on, and just for everyone to just dial in on Little Emporia, Kansas, and for them to just embrace disc golf the way they do. And it's going to be exciting to see the GBO this year. It's going to be exciting to see the Pro Worlds taking place there, and Emporia is going to be the place to be for sure. So,
absolutely, man.
Now, is there, when you guys are organizing yourselves, obviously you kind of want to be a little bit stretched out, so you're not on top of each other. Do you stake claim to any given area or route? I mean, you just kind of mentioned some of your favorite places you want to be, but is there any other, method to the madness there for you?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a new deal this year because we've got two that are going to be out there full time. Last year it was just kind of me winging it and going wherever the road led and following some tournaments. But this year, yeah, we're kind of game planning from GBO. So the other will both be at GBO, obviously, and then we'll both be back for Worlds. So we'll both go opposite directions. I'll go west, and the other RV will go east from that point, and kind of make the loop, do kind of a figure eight thing going through the country.
Sweet.
Now, is that going to change anything because you have Drew on board? He's going to want to hit a lot of those bigger events. Is that, you said you're going to maybe follow the NTs a bit?
Yeah, I mean, we're still trying to figure out exactly what tournaments. I'm trying to get Drew on for some other events. I want him to go to Silver Cup, and he's going to take off Nick Hyde and come out to Bowling Green with me. So he'll start there. We'll be at GBO, and then I'll catch back up with him at Masters Cup, and then we'll head to St. Jude and then Beaver State.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah. So it's certainly busy, and that is, like you're saying, that's an interesting consideration that you have to make if he's going to be one of your travel mates.
Right.
That yes,
but
he's.
But that's a win-win for both of us.
Yeah.
Having Drew there is great. It gives me somebody else to kind of lean on a little bit, and then as obviously Drew's an attraction in of himself, so it'll help promote us more by having Drew there with me some.
Sweet.
If you had to take a wild guess, how many miles are you going to put on the RV this year?
Oh man, I think it'll be more than last year. Last year, just on the new one, and I started in March with Tyler, and I want to say we put 60,000 on the new one already, just till today. So I would guess it'll be over 60,000 next year for sure.
Not bad.
And dare I ask, what's the average mile per gallon of gas?
Cool. We're getting about 7 miles to the gallon on that bad.
All right, 7. Yeah. So
super cost effective.
DD has to be loving. I mean, Johnny V and I were just texting about it last night. That's how exciting our lives were. That gas here in Wisconsin, I'll time and date stamp it. Gas right now I saw at $1.39 in various parts of Milwaukee. So
nice.
$1.39. That would.
I was stoked because we have to put premium gas in that thing.
Oh,
so,
ouch!
Yeah,
ouch!
So I paid $1.99 for it the other day, and I was jumping up and down.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that is. Yeah, I don't even want to do all that math, but it's not math. No, yeah, it's not math I want to do. But you guys are out there. You're promoting. You're literally a moving, traveling billboard. And then when you get to the cities, you guys are doing so much good and growing the sport. And a lot of people throw that hashtag around. We know they do, but there's certain avenues. There's certain activities that are truly growing the sport rather than just throwing it out there. And I think things like the 2-disc challenge, fall under that category as making it happen, and we love seeing it. So anything you need to say, anything before we cut you loose here tonight, you need to shout out to anyone or mentions you need to make?
Of course, Drew's going to be mad if I don't say hi, Drew. I love you. Too soon. But no, I'll tell you this. One of my favorite rounds I played all year was at Silver Cup with Johnny V.
Aww, he's just saying that. He's just saying that.
Not to laugh the entire time. Because you'll think he doesn't care and he's not taking it seriously, which he probably isn't. He's having a really good time.
It
doesn't matter how bad you play, you're still laughing.
That fourth round, I was not. None of us were really that happy to be where we were.
No.
And then, and I'll say this: when I first started that round, it was like I don't care. Just let me get up and throw. And then it kind of things started clicking a little bit, and I didn't want to change my attitude. So I'm like, whatever. And we were having fun, and we were chatting and laughing, and some things were going right, and some things were going way wrong for people. It was a really good time.
Well, and that's also one of the hardest courses I think I've played in the country.
Yeah, yeah.
Those long tee boxes, that course is brutal.
Yeah, they could use a few less trees, but you didn't hear that me. Oh, yeah, you did hear that from me. Anyway, before we go there. All right, well, we appreciate you joining the show. We appreciate all the support DD has given us in the show and Smashbox and Disc Golf Answer Man. We love the relationship that we're going back and forth with, and we love to be talking about all the positive things that you guys are doing. So thanks for joining us, and thanks for giving us the updates.
Sounds good, guys. I'll see you at GBF.
All right, sounds good, Pat. We'll see you soon. All right, and as we said, that was JRay from the 2-Disc Challenge. Multiple RVs circling the country. In what I would love to see is some kind of official tracker, like put a, whether it's...
Oh, sure, like a GPS.
Yeah, just a
something.
GPS that shows...
Could probably do that on a phone with some app.
Yeah, exactly. I think that would be really cool to see.
How long until DD has a plane? The DD Cessna, or,
I don't know. Maybe...
they're killing it.
I think they need to up their ads with us before they invest in a plane.
That's a good point.
No, but again, we talk about it all the time. We love those guys over there. They're very gracious with us. They support us. We support them, and we're all just part of the bigger Frisbee family. And I'll segue right into last night. I made an Instagram post. I got caught up on the latest, one of the latest. I didn't listen to the Ricky Wysocki interview yet, but I listened to, I believe it was podcast 106. Which was one of their most recently full release podcasts, and they got a lot of great stuff going on. And there's always, obviously, it's called Disc Golf Answer Man, so people are submitting questions about form, about different discs that they could use, different rules, so on and so forth. And what's interesting is I think they find a lot of the same topics we find interesting. They find interesting as well, understandably.
I mean, we're very like-minded. We understand the same things. We see the same things, and I think they see things on a level like we do as well. So
yeah. And speaking of seeing things, Jake here, who attended the event this weekend, good to see you, Jake. He mentions Big Germ's video. Did you happen to catch that earlier today?
I didn't catch it. I didn't watch it. I know what it is, and I know what's out there. I just didn't get a chance. I was pretty swamped today. The past 2 days, I actually spent a lot of time with Bobby and Eric and the DD crew, because I had about 8 hours of driving in the last 2 days, going up north for a work thing, my real job, and so I put on like 2 or 3 Disc Golf Answer Mans. So, but I did see the bet that was made, the throwdown. So I'm looking forward to actually watching the video. Did you watch it?
I did, and there was, for those that don't know, there was a kind wager offered first by Scott Stokely. He had put it on Jeremy Colling's page, and there was a wager talked about whether his Denver-based team, obviously the Broncos, versus Jeremy Colling's Panther team was going to win the Super Bowl, and then depending on who won, the other one may have to make a video. And I'll spoil it a little. Big Germ goes out there and he very much compliments Scott Stokely in a lot of different ways. And it's only about 2.5 minutes, so it's just the right length, and it was pretty entertaining. So Big Germ following up on the bet, as he should.
Yep. A bet is a bet.
It is. Talking about Scott Stokely's baby blue eyes. Yes, definitely. Definitely entertaining to see. Some of the other things that we saw in social media going on this weekend, I made a few quick notes. Jussi Maresma, he throws out some posts out there that kind of gets people thinking about how disc golf's going, the direction it's going. Obviously, as he's working on the World Tour. He had kind of thrown, I don't know if it was the gauntlet, but he had said, link me to a disc golf event webpage that is not aimed to the players.
Yep.
One good reason why we are still a small sport. And
I disagree.
Okay.
I'll flat out say I disagree with what Jussi's saying. I see Jussi's point, saying that the tournament websites should have more info for spectators.
General information.
It's like, hey, come out on Saturday, see these players, this and that, for especially these large events. I don't think that's why we're small. I think that's a product of being small, that there hasn't been a need for it.
Okay.
And Jussi is looking to change that, and God bless him, I hope he does. Getting when you go to a website like that, it would be nice to see something up front for spectators, give it that bigger feel. But right now, I don't believe that that's even a kernel in the jar of the reasons why we're small.
Okay. It was an interesting perspective by UC, but one thing I'm going to segue right to, speaking of a good way to get your events out there, shameless plug for us and them, Idaho, it has an event that takes place every July. I know we talked about it a little bit earlier. It's just sometimes referred to as the Invitational, but the Southeast Idaho Invitational reached out to us. They have a beautiful flat top champion gator that we're going to be giving away because we're going to have a trivia question coming up in just a moment after I give you some details about the event. Again, generally just called the Invitational. They say it's really a B tier, or it's A tier quality in B tier format. Hole 1, they have CTPs, 6 $50 CTPs, which is pretty sweet. Cold water, snacks, all sorts of things out on the course. No lunches, you don't need to pack a lunch because one's provided, so that's pretty cool. That's something that they do, so you can save your lunch money. And then they head to the Bengal Ridge course, where Josh Newton came from behind and took over $1,000 payday last year, $1,055 payday, and earned his spot. What's cool, what they do, I've seen other events do this, and I think it's a great thing to do. The tournament champion then becomes the stamp or the person or the silhouette for the next year.
Cool.
So if you want to that's one way to get yourself on a disc. Go win the tournament.
Am I going to be the only one there?
Maybe. All right, the Johnny V Open with Johnny V as title sponsor, and Johnny V is.
You can Dimax that.
There you go. We can Dimax that. So again, Josh Newton with $1,055 payday. And I like how he included it here using our nomenclature. If the amateurs want to get disc golf rich, they can, as they've been providing 200% payout for AMs for the last 4 years. And it says, to cap off your weekend, the award ceremony is accompanied by another homemade lunch and a 150-foot slip and slide.
Wow, fun.
Doesn't that sound awesome?
That does sound awesome. I didn't know they had a 150-foot slip and slide.
Yeah, they have a 150-foot slip and slide.
That should have been the question. How long is their slip and slide?
That would have been. But I'm going to give you almost an even easier question for you to win the champion gator. Can you show it? Can you let everybody know?
I can. Let's show a picture of this champion gator that we're giving away.
So I'm going to get over here, and here comes the question in just a moment, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. So the users right now are seeing a blue champion gator. It's opaque.
And he's going to be sending it out directly. Of course, we're going to have you go out to our page and submit us the info, but he is going to drop ship that to you once we have the winner of the giveaway. So here's the question. Let me read it just so I don't screw it up. I just mentioned Josh Newton came from behind to win last year. How much was his payday?
Oh, how much was Josh Newton's
payday for first place last year? I said it, I think, 2 or 3 times. So this tells you how good you do or don't listen. Yeah, you weren't listening.
I was busy chatting.
And there it is. First one, State DGE.
Strat Edge.
Could
be.
Yeah,
it could
sorry,
be
I didn't see the
straight
R.
edge.
No. I'm sorry. I did not see the R in there.
So the
there
very
you
first
go.
answer.
Very first answer is the right answer at 1,055. That was quick and easy and painless, not 10-star fires.
So straight edge or strat edge, depending on how it is. Go out to smashbox.tv/winners and go fill out that little form. Let us know so we can pass on your information. So you can get that nice, beautiful blue flat top gator.
Champion gator. There you have it. So simple enough. Thank you. We appreciate all of the help, the giveaway. Super easy. And if you want to check it out, it takes place in July. I don't know if I mentioned that, but takes place in July. And 2-day event. Looks like a really good time. Freeman Park, Bengal Park. Yeah, I don't know if we could say any better than that. So thank you. So again, if you don't have a website for your event, or maybe you do, but you still want to reach out to us, get some plugs or mentions, there's things we can do to make that happen. Also, we talked about earlier on the show, of course, tonight brought to you in part by Daredevil Disc. Reach out to Ricky Singleton, Team Waka. He can help you out if you're interested in ordering some Daredevil Discs. We saw today, man, you would think I set up my segues, and I really don't. I just ramble. We saw today also in Pro Tour news, Our good friend Steve Dodge, not only did he have a couple press releases announcing some stuff, but one of the things announced today was discgolfprotour.com now has discs available to purchase. I was going to say to sell, to purchase. So you can go out there. They've got Daredevil discs out there, as I just mentioned. They have some Vibram discs out there. So go check them out on discgolfprotour.com. And they announced earlier in the press release that, I'm sorry, it wasn't in a press release. It was only at the time in a email. And only if you subscribed did you get the heads up on the disc being available. So I would highly suggest you go out and subscribe to the Disc Golf Pro Tour's email account so that you can get the quickest up-to-date information coming directly from the Disc Golf Pro Tour.
Hint, hint, we may be involved in that.
I think we're going to be. And some other cool stuff from the Disc Golf Pro Tour. They did, like I said, they had a couple of other announcements. The other one was that Tribaloid, who you've seen sponsor and Pat Brown has talked about, has been very involved with creating disc golf games. I know they're working on yet a new disc golf game. So Tribaloid has joined into the Disc Golf Pro Tour family. So awesome. Welcome. Congrats. All of that good stuff. And then also we saw today that Dude and his athletic sportswear and equipment wear will be part of the Pro Tour. So 3 pretty big things for the Pro Tour that Steve was very excited to talk about today. Again, the new discs are available on the website. Tribaloid has joined on as a supporter and sponsor, as has Dude.
That's great.
So, gosh, so much information. All just coming in from everywhere. But awesome to see, awesome to hear.
The other big news, kind of big news, I guess, PDGA this yesterday or today, I believe it was.
Today's Tuesday, so yesterday.
So it was yesterday. Actually, they put out what's known as an RFP.
Request for proposal
for live broadcasting of the NT events. And it's I've got it pulled up here. It includes Memorial, Glassblown, Kansas City, Steady Ed Masters Cup, Beaver State, Vibram, and the Brent Hambrick. And basically they lay out some requirements that you need to do if you want to submit a proposal to be the live broadcast company that the PDGA works with and helps support. It's not a lot of people will kind of go back and forth. It's not really a true RFP. Some people are saying it's more of suggested vendor kind of thing, but either way, it's out there. It's on the PDGA website if you are interested in getting in the pool with us and doing some live streaming.
Yeah, there's certainly, so obviously this was put out there. We know that there are other entities. Everyone knows there's a handful of different entities out there that are interested in doing live streaming events. We have worked with a number of these events, and we know that we're going to have some involvement with a number of these events. However, it makes sense that if you're interested, you and your company are interested in getting involved, it's all out there on the PDGA front page. I know that the request closes on Sunday night, so we just want to make sure that everyone knows it's out there, and looks to be pretty thorough with some of the things that they're looking for. So go out there and check it out if you're so inclined.
Yeah.
All right. What else do we have on here? Do you got any other notes out there?
I don't.
Oh, let me see if I do. I would like to send a quick shout out to my friend Tina. She did, in fact, send me some whale sacks that I had purchased, and she was helping support both my video blogs, and I'd like to be working with her more in the future. I meant to bring one to show you guys today. There was a lot of people questioning what in the world and why I keep talking about whale sacks, so I thought it'd be pretty appropriate to bring some along tonight. Of course, in my nature of flakiness tonight, I did not. So hopefully next week I'll bring my versions. Of course, you can go out there and find her online, but I wanted to show in the camera everybody exactly what it looks like and the size. But so we do appreciate it. Thank you so much to Tina over at Whale Sacks. She said she's getting busier. So if you're interested in getting some for your tournament or you're gearing up for the year, make sure you get in touch with her. She can customize the patterns and the colors and all those different things. So make sure you get in touch with her as soon as you can. And so she can send you your very own whale sack.
It's always fun to say.
It's always fun to have one.
It is.
All right. Well, I think in terms of official news and information, we could probably start wrapping this up. We can go into some other random BS into the over in our I'm sorry, I'm seeing stuff online over in the after show. But I think for official news and information here on our podcast, we could wrap things up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
All
good.
right. So I'm going to do that. So for the Southeast Idaho Disc Golf Invitational, the Invitational taking place in Idaho, you know
Sorry.
what it is. For Daredevil Disc, for Spinners on the Green, for Discraft, for Dynamic Disc, for the 2-Disc Challenge, for JRay, for Ben, for Keith, for everyone that joined us. Thank you guys so much for all your input tonight. We appreciate all of it. We're glad you could join us on the show. Thank you for supporting us. We're going to sign out. This is Johnny V and Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy. That was podcast number 73. Stick around for the after show in just a few minutes, where you can again step inside the Smash Box. And welcome back, Smash Box.
Time to take off the tie.
Yeah, let
Untuck.
loose. So welcome everyone. This is podcast episode 73. We're in the ever so loose and also crazy after show hours. I am Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, joined here by Johnny V.
Yeah.
And it's Milwaukee, Wisconsin, wintertime, and we're geared up. Just talking about the memorial in our regular segment has me kind of jacked to get the F out of here.
Yeah, well, I'm ready for the memorial because it means it's March.
Yes.
And hopefully we'll see some weather turn around by then. I'm sad I'm not going again.
Yep, so sad. I'm sad you're not going to.
You should be.
I am. I'm so.
It's more work for you
It is.
after the rounds.
It's always more work for me.
I loved GBO that, and just like this year where I'll be on site. So once we finish with the broadcast, wrap it up, I hightail it out of there, go to wherever we're doing our after show, or our after wrap up show, we'll say, not an after show, and get that prepared. And then, within 2 hours we're back on the air and talking some more. So I wish I could do that for the memorial. There's a couple of reasons. One, I don't know of a place in Arizona where I can get really quality bandwidth to that will support this. Whereas at GBO, we've got the warehouse, which has phenomenal bandwidth, and vacation time. It's tough to take another week off.
Yeah,
for me.
especially when we have quite a few different things in the
yeah.
works, all of which we can't release right now, but we have a ton of different things in the works right now in terms of live broadcasting and or video blogging, or a combination of both at any given event. So vacation time for you is going to come at a premium. I'm on vacation all the time because my job's just disc golf.
That's right.
Okay, maybe not. But there is going to be a lot of different stuff going on. Like I said, we're going to be at a lot of different events, and the best I can say to any kind of official schedule or calendar or release of that, I would say wait another couple weeks, and I think we're going to have some big announcements referring to where we're going to be and what's going to be going on. But we're going to be involved with the Pro Tour. That is there any other live ones that we've locked in? The Memorial
GBO.
we talked about, the GBO from the National Tour, and then like I said, the entire Pro Tour. Those are all lock-ins. And then
we're working on more.
Yeah, and then we're working on more, and I'm working on continuing to be involved with video blogging where live isn't available. So lots of different things going on around here. Got a great crew out there on the board watching. Hopefully everybody got all of the information you could have wanted in terms of what's going on at the Memorial, what's going on with the 2-Disc Challenge. Again, we got to thank Keith and Ben along with JRay for giving us all the great information as to what's going to be going on here in 2016 with those guys. And when we don't have information, check out our friends over at Answer Man. They've got a bunch of answers, and
they have all the
stuff.
answers, right? By definition, it's their name. They should have all the
should.
answers.
They should. And they've got Paige.
Yeah.
We don't have.
We can steal her.
Maybe it won't be so hard. Maybe she would willfully move over. Maybe not. I don't know.
We don't. We love Paige, but we don't need her. We got Zoe.
We also, I saw not too long ago, I think we may have mentioned it or not last week, but Paige's dad, Doug, had moved from Colorado over to being the events coordinator at DD.
Yeah.
And that's going to be awesome to see. Obviously, I talked about last year, him and Ray, what they had done with the women's event in Colorado has the Rocky Mountain Women's
great.
Championship. So when you build yourself up into being one of the greatest TDs around, or co-TDs, then you may just get hired by a company to come help run events with them. So very cool to see Doug joining the crew down there in Emporia. One thing that we could talk about real quickly, I'm going to grab them. Let me step aside. I'll cough while I do it. Oh, that's really loud. Sorry.
That's not too bad. It's kind of funny. There's some questions on the board that says here, what do I do, or what do you have to do to get blocked on our chat? And I answered, don't be a jerk. Don't be overly offensive. A little offensive is all right for the after show. But, I don't want anything racist, sexist, bigotous, anything like that. And don't over self-promote. If you want to, we let somebody kind of fly through on the chat that was promoting his YouTube sub. He's like, sub my YouTube page. And I let it go once or twice, and then that's it. If that's all you're here for.
Well, or if you're not randomly trolling.
Yeah, if you're randomly trolling, things like that, then you're gone. There's no reason. We don't need you. And I'm really looking forward to having, I don't know if Chris Cobb is going to be watching during the memorial, but I think for the memorial, I'm going to pick a few people that I trust and that I see on the chat board a lot, and I'm going to give them moderator permissions.
Yeah, our good friend
Someone
Jenny.
like Jenny Cook.
Yeah, Jenny may be helping out with that. So there may be some moderator permissions granted. Chris may or may not be around, as you said. If he's physically on site and can help out, that would be even better if he could help out with the actual crew. But
well, he was the one that opened up the spot for Masters, he said. The one spot that he pulled out. So
okay,
I'm not sure why, if he's not going to be around or if he's not going to be able to help or what, but either way.
So he had just used apparently a word that's a default blocked word.
Yeah, Chris Cobb, who there's a couple blacklist words that automatically.
Actually, yeah, YouTube and Google had
there's one or two of them that I added, but
sure.
Yes.
And yet we don't block dickbag.
No, not at all.
That's one of our words.
That's our word. We're taking it back.
But yes, the short answer to that question is don't be a dickbag. That'd be a good way to not get kicked off.
Yep.
Scott Linthicum had said he was looking at the host hotel at the Memorial at $279. Yes, unfortunately, some of the lodging can be expensive there. One reason that you don't see a lot of price breaks or discounts, or you really need to get in early, whether it's the host hotel or elsewhere even actually, as they talked about earlier, it's spring training. So that place is already buzzing with people everywhere. So although it may not seem like a real hot or the best time of year, there's no shortage of people wanting hotel rooms. So sometimes they're at a little bit more of a premium than we would like. And you think, wow, $279 or whatever. I'll give you guys a little pro tip that I finally get smartened up to a few years ago. I went out to Airbnb and was actually able to find in our case, like a townhouse that now I've rented, I think for 4 or 5 6 years. I'm going to go on record and say it was arguably one of the smartest things I've ever done. And that, I don't know if that says a lot or a little.
I was going to say, it's a small list, but it's great.
It has proven to be one of the smartest, most economical things I have ever done, at least within the sport of disc golf.
Get together with a group of 4 or 5 guys or girls or whatever and find a house.
Yeah.
We saw that the, Paige Pierce and those guys,
and Madison and those guys
and
that got
Zoe,
in the house. Yep.
They're doing the same thing, and it ranges anywhere from cheap house to really nice place.
There's a lot of options, so something like an Airbnb is a great, or VRBO, but Airbnb.com was great for us. I now have a relationship with this owner who she just knows every single year at the end of February, first weekend into March. I'm committed to it. She is now bent over backwards to just ensure that I've got the dates that I want, and she turns around, turns away a few other people, and she knows that we're locked in. And I just tell her every single year, just book us. And it's not glamorous or luxurious. We're again disc golf rich here, so but it turns out to be less than $100, or about $100 a person for the entire week. And we have 6, 7, 8 people in there, somewhere in that neighborhood.
It's like a 3 or 4 bedroom place.
Yeah, so and it has all the basic amenities that we need, and it's fully loaded with everything from a grill to a patio to every appliance, and fully furnished, and it has everything we need. So, and you don't have to eat out every single day, which is great. So lots of good things over there. One of the questions, or one of the things that was talked about, Johnny made a post earlier in the week, or recently, referring to the new disc. We'd like to, of course, thank our friends over at DD and the Dymax capabilities. We've got ourselves couple of very cool Smashbox discs. I'm going to go over there.
No, stay over there. Yeah, these are Dymaxed. The DD crew just opted these up for us very nicely out of some goodness of our relationship, and we have 20 discs.
20, not anymore.
20 of these.
16,
no,
I hit
yeah.
some now.
I literally, there's 2 of them right in my bag right now. I took them out. They're still in the plastic. Stuffed them in my bag, which happened to be in my car, because the whole point of that was there's truth and a trespass. I want to try them both. Because I've never thrown them, and everyone says the truth is a great mid-range. I don't know much about the trespass yet, but you had said that you were crushing them at one point. Which, I mean, you're no JRay, but
no, I'm not. But
so I'm really looking forward to using them, and I don't know what we're gonna do with the rest of them yet.
Some might get stashed. We've talked about me being a hoarder. I may take my portion of them and stash them, or we may offer up a couple as fundraisers. We may give 1 or 2 away. We're not really sure what's going to happen with them, but we would like to thank our pals over at DD again for hooking us up. I would say that would be all you need to do. Just mention DD and that you throw certain discs, and they'll just send you free ones.
Yeah, they send you all of them.
I think that's how they work. Yeah, just try that.
Try that.
Wherever you go, just social media, just keep tagging them, telling
just
them.
repeatedly tag. Don't tell them we sent you them.
No. So those are some awesome discs, and we're both excited to get out there and try them out and see what they're like. People talking about Kevin McCoy had a pro tip. He said that if you just go down into Tempe, maybe you could find a co-ed to crash with for the week. That's a brilliant.
Back in our day, we tried. Didn't always work out so well.
Yeah, I'm not going to comment on most of that.
It was a long time ago.
Yes, something
at least
like
2
that.
years ago.
What's the difference between a trespass? I couldn't tell you the difference. I know a Wraith is actually my favorite disc in terms of driving. So I'd have to throw it more to see exactly what it's like. I'm sure there's plenty of people that could give you all sorts of.
Someone is saying it trespasses like a worn-in destroyer. I don't know. So it's like a speed 27, a fade 52. Glide
99. It's one less
99.
than the heat.
It's one less than the heat.
Than the heat that Keith Murray had talked about.
And I don't even know what the other number is.
Well, since they Disc Golf Answer men and Paige talk down on the numbers, I live and die by the number. Okay, maybe I don't. I really don't either. So a lot of people are saying it's a lot like a destroyer, which some may recognize from that in a Nova company.
Yeah.
I know in. I'm just kidding. From Innova.
So regardless, no matter what, I'm looking forward to throwing them and maybe stashing 1 or 2.
Yeah. So we'll see. There might be 1 or 2 that hit the waves.
He says it's not at all like a destroyer.
Okay.
See, that's
exactly.
it. Everybody throws them differently.
Yes.
You know,
it's go out and buy 10 of them.
I heard it's like a first run whip it.
Oh yeah.
With mixed with a magnet.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's strange.
So smaller diameter.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Definitely smaller.
Like the size of a mini.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's odd. Only Simon can throw them.
Like a Ching Mini or like
no. Like one of those minis you get at
the mini flyers.
No.
Little flyers.
No, definitely not that.
The Axe. Those were minis for a little while.
Nope. You're never gonna get it. Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh, Chuck E.
Those little
Cheese.
plastic
Yes,
ones.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, more like
it's
Chuck
got
E.
the
Cheese.
ridges like that. I haven't thrown it yet. I'll let you know later.
Okay. That sounds like a good idea. One thought that we've had when it comes to talking about airtime and sponsorship and some other things would be if your club or your organization wanted some exposure, that's a good way to reach out to us, or that's a good reason to reach out to us. If you think that maybe you have a little clip, or maybe you have something prepared, or maybe you need us to read something, it could be done on the podcast, but on a number of our broadcasts, we could also work that in if you were looking to possibly fill some kind of a commercial spot in that sense.
Sure.
Now, obviously, when you go to every different tournament, there's different presenting sponsors, and this obviously goes back into a lot of stuff from last year, but there's different sponsors that are supporting events, and some sponsors don't want to conflict with other sponsors and presenting sponsors and things of that nature, and every one of those relationships is a little different and a little bit delicate. However, things like, you know, Joe Schmo's B tier or A tier that you want to promote, or just your club, you want to get your club name out there, or whatever it might be. Those are opportunities that we can certainly look into in helping you promote your brand or your product or your club or your tournament. And we're seeing that it's getting tougher and tougher to vie for these tournament participants. Obviously, there's more tournaments and more players, but a lot of people always say to me, well, how do we get the best here? How do we get a Macbeth here? How do we get a whomever here? Is it money they need? Is it the courses? Is it the time? And I always say it's kind of a combination of all those things, but it's also a lot of reputation. And so getting your name out there, putting on a solid event or two, promoting it, and letting everyone know that it's going on, and just kind of helping with that positive promotion. I got to say that's certainly part of the reason that I decided to work with Schwebby. He talked so highly about going to Alaska, and it just seemed like a no-brainer when they said they wanted to work with me. So there's a lot of different things you could do. Bring some coverage to your event, and then everybody can see how awesome it is. So
That's right.
I think that was a roundabout plug for us.
Yeah.
We'll say it was.
We're good. People like us.
Something like that. Some do. Can you just promote me? No, Jake. I'm done promoting you. That's the last time I'll mention you tonight, too. If you would have won the tournament this weekend, we'd be having a different conversation. But otherwise, no. Nickelback stamped disc.
Yeah, look at this photograph. It'd have to be a Dimax disc.
That's
And I said their consistency is great. They all sound the same. They all fly the same, just like their songs.
Oh.
So, and if you put a Nickelback disc on a record player, it actually sounds like a really crappy Nickelback song.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll have to try that sometime.
We're gonna lose all of our Nickelback fans.
That is harsh. To offer up any help for the show's experience, video production, and motion graphics. Yeah, Rick, you're hired.
We like motion graphics. I've been messing around with some After Effects templates and things like that for the memorial. I've got some cool little stuff I'm working on, but it's by all means basic. So, yeah, if you want, reach out to me, Jon at smashbox.tv, and we can, if you want to work, we've got no problem promoting you or doing something for you. So we'll figure something out.
We'll make it happen, my friend, for sure. One of the things that we talked about with Keith and earlier before we were even live today, it's rare that we actually have an in-depth conversation with one of our guests prior to having him on the show. Usually it's pretty much fly by the seat of our pants, but we had a conversation with him and we were just talking about where we're going to have the nightly broadcast or the nightly podcast so we can wrap up each day's action. Last year at the Memorial was the first time we ever tried that, and it went off relatively well, so I think you're going to see us doing more of that this year at a number of events, including at the Memorial. So we're going to have to look for the right location. I know we talked about Duke's, being right there, but look for those as well. I think, people should be enjoying
last year
those.
we were at Duke's.
Yep.
And it seemed to work out well enough. I mean,
it
wasn't as busy as it had been in the past couple of years, and I don't know if it's going to be again this year or not, but it's tend to be a central hub in the past.
Yeah, so, and we're not going to have Dynamite there. So Dana may be able to do a little bit of stats and updates and keeping track of some things from home, and then we could have him on the show at night where he could really fill us in with a whole bunch of details because he won't be out on the course playing during the day as he was last year. So should be pretty cool. I had announced, I released this weekend. I guess I was thinking I have a little bit other news. I released this weekend a video regarding Manitowoc. It does not involve the Stephen Avery case, but I released another Manitowoc-based video that had Jay and Des Redding in it, along with Johnny McRae and the Silver Cup tournament director in Jim Van Lannen.
Okay.
And just after the Silver Cup last year, it was 2 days later, it was on Tuesday, the 14th of July, there was a disc golf day. So it was just a community-based, visitor and convention bureau backed, locally sponsored, locally put on disc golf day. And Jay and Des and Johnny McRae, along with a couple other locals, Adam Perry, Nick Mazinski, and a handful of others, were out at the course just teaching people the basics of disc golf.
Cool.
So it was a very informal, it was clinic-like. There was different areas you would go to. You did putting, driving, backhand, forehand. So you had a couple different stations you went to. You could get a disc if you did so. There was a couple ring of fires at the end. It was just an all-around awesome day, and it was all organized by Jim and the rest of the Visitors and Convention Bureau people. And so there's a video blog out there, and it talks a little bit about it, about bringing disc golf to your community. And I got to say, just like we talked about with JRay, there's another legitimate grow the sport endeavor and effort. Yeah. And
Jim's great that way.
And
Van Lanen.
He very much is. So that's out there. Check it out. That's my latest video blog. So I hope you guys enjoy it. And it's out there. The putting championships. Oh, from the GBO. Is that what you're talking about?
Someone asked if we watched the DD after hours putting, and I didn't know if that was what he meant by the putting championships.
No,
or
they
if
had
that's different.
a Periscope.
Oh.
They had a Periscope thing. I believe it was last night.
Was it? Okay.
I think it was last night they did a Periscope.
I was
item.
driving.
So not available. One thing I did want to point out is over at DD, they have been doing lately a lot of live, or Bobby Brown specifically has been doing live to Facebook stuff. That's available only if you have an iPhone.
Yeah.
Or Apple product, I should say.
As it should be.
As it should be. That's such an ignorant remark, as it should be. Anyway, as it should be. How stupid. So you're seeing that he's doing some Facebook Live stuff, and they always are doing Periscope stuff. So make sure you follow them on both so that you can see what they're going on, what they have going on. But I wonder when Android will be doing it on Facebook. I wonder if that's a platform.
Here's what I've heard from developers. It's easier to develop for iPhone.
Sure.
Because it's more consistent as far as the OS and the hardware that you get. Because there's only 4 different models of iPhone or whatever. Android, there's like 4,000. So it's a little harder to develop. It always takes longer.
Yep.
So it's easier to get something out on Android or an iOS quicker. It will come to Android. It's just a matter of when.
Scott asked a great question about, will you be doing a special round the day before the tournament doubles or some form of challenge?
I was actually thinking that today. We haven't talked about it.
We haven't, and I'm going to guess right now if we do, it would be more of a recorded format and we do something of that nature. It's not ruled out if we were to maybe have a sponsor that wanted to step up and possibly help present the idea of having live coverage during that day. But as you can imagine, live coverage isn't cheap, and we'd have to get the players on board and all that other stuff. It's an idea. It's a good idea. Mm-hmm. But it would probably need some kind of sponsor. Last year, Latitude actually stepped up.
Yep.
Latitude and DD both chipped in to help make that possible. So if somebody was interested in doing some kind of, sponsorship for that, then we would be more inclined to do it. Otherwise, I was thinking there may be something that gets lined up in terms of a competitive yet fun round that gets recorded as something that I may put out in a later format or version. Okay. So, but great question as to if it could happen or not. All I ever see are preachers. iPhones are great only if we could get a DGCR app. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. I don't check out the disc golf course review much these days.
I go on once a week, check out kind of the threads, the forums.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good idea to go there for.
Yeah, that's honestly the only reason I'm out there, because the course review stuff for me personally isn't that interesting. I don't get out to play enough courses. I can't really give my 2 cents on new courses and things like that. So the forums are kind of where I go. That and Reddit.
All right. Anything new on Reddit these days?
There hasn't been.
In the world of disc golf?
It's been pretty dead out there. Yeah, I'm gonna go out there right now and just kind of browse.
Oh wow!
What?
That's some on the spot research.
Yeah, right now. There's nothing. There's. I'll say this: Disc Golf Answer Man, back to DD, put out a nice article about the 4 common driving mistakes that beginners in disc golf make. So I won't spoil or ruin anything. Go out and read it. It's pretty good. I perused it. I still make 1 or 2 of those, but those are ingrained habits now. Those aren't beginner. Those aren't common mistakes for me. Beginner mistakes. They're just my mistakes.
Okay. Question off the board was: do you think the 50-foot circle on the Pro Tour will turn into a PDGA rule change? Maybe give it a year to see. I'm just going to go on record and say I highly doubt it. I don't think that will have any impact on the PDGA side of things. I know there was a big discussion about it as to, if you like it or not. We talked about it briefly last week. But to quickly and easily answer your question, I don't think you're going to see it expand to 50 feet, is what I'd say. Joe says he's out begging courses. Yep. That's what I used to do.
You got to get to the Mike
when I was,
Harrington status.
Yeah.
The only way you're doing that is if you're tying Harrington down.
Yeah, so. And if you've got nothing better to do, there's a lot of courses to get out there and play. That was cute back in the day. I don't got time for that kind of stuff anymore.
We did that a little bit back when we had a course book.
Yeah, when actually you had to buy a book that had all the courses listed in them.
One of the threads on Reddit that I did see that really has no answer is, and I think we may have discussed this, nobody has got a fantasy disc golf site going anymore.
Okay, I know we talked about it last year.
Fantasy DG is still out there, but no one knows if it's live or it's working. The old Play Fantasy Disc Golf, I think that's kind of dead and gone. There just hasn't. I actually looked today, real briefly, to see if there was any sort of generic template fantasy sports thing that you could throw together in 5 minutes with WordPress, and there's really not. So I was thinking I could throw something together, but there's nothing easy out there, and I don't have time. I ain't got time to do programming anymore.
No, definitely not. Roger asked if we're doing anything different this year. I don't know. That's somewhat vague. I don't know what you mean by different. In terms of events, we're going to do some other events for sure that we're covering.
No, I think at the Memorial, are we doing anything different? I don't believe we're really not doing anything too much different. We're going to kind of have the same very standard setup that we had last year. Our good 2-camera coverage with our 2 really nice cameras, and we're debating. We'll probably cover the women one round.
Yeah, that's going to be a little bit of a.
That's going to be more of an on the fly decision.
On the fly, and a little bit of on the event.
Yeah.
Some things we have ultimate say in, and some things we don't.
Yep.
And so, contrary to belief, we don't call all the shots. So,
no. We're contracted.
Or contrary to what we want to tell you, we don't call all the shots. So exactly what's going to happen and how it's going to go down, some of those details are yet to be determined.
Yep.
We're going to do the best that we can, of course, to be out there, but we'll let you know as it gets a little closer. Anyone know where you can
coordinate for lodging for out-of-towners? The single rates are outrageous because of the baseball spring training. That is tough. What I would probably do is make some posts out on Disc Golf Course Review or Reddit and say, hey, does anyone have a spot to for an extra person?
Yeah, to hook up with. That'd be the best way to do it. And also, I would assume, and for a number of years now, the Memorial Championship has its own Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
And you could go out there. Did you just say Facebook?
No.
Okay. Yeah, you could go out there, and that would be a place because as the event gets a little bit closer here, more people are going to be checking that out, and they're going to be usually pretty good about updating that.
And a lot of times people are looking to split money, and it saves everybody a little bit. So
we should have a Smashbox hookup forum. No. Okay. All right. I'm just throwing out ideas. I don't know. I'm going to see.
I've seen our stats. That's not a forum I want to be in. There's a lot of dudes.
Yeah. Well. All right. Have a good night. Hey, Nathan, we appreciate for tuning in and joining us. We appreciate you being here.
Yeah, Nathan said that he did not agree with me on everything.
Oh, well.
Literally not everything. I was kind of upset about it.
Oh. He likes being wrong? Or
I'm probably.
Just kidding, Nathan. I don't agree with most of Johnny's silliness either. More often than not, he's... Yeah. Kevin McCoy said that he had hoped there is not the concern of moving the putting circle to 50 feet because it takes that much longer for people to step it off. And I'm going to say right here and now, and I'm not going out on any, crazy limbs. Stepping it off, that should be part of your 30 seconds. Why should I have to sit and wait for that? That's part of your routine.
I agree.
And I almost jokingly this weekend, after being asked for like the 9th time by our friend Matt Parker, am I outside? And everybody reacts to that question a little bit differently.
I always answer yes.
Yeah.
I'm always like, yep. I didn't even look.
But after being asked it so often, and I know he's trying to be polite, but after being asked it so often, I kind of wanted to, in a cocky way, say, why don't you putt and we'll find out? Like, throw and we'll figure it out later.
If you make it, maybe you weren't.
And I know a lot of people have a lot of different entertaining responses to the whole "Am I outside?"
I've thrown stupid things out like they're like, yeah, I'm enjoying the weather. Like, aren't you?
Yeah,
crap like that.
So it's kind of funny because it's one of those weird rules where you're kind of almost like you're asking if you're gonna if you in fact are about to break a rule or not.
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird. I mean, is it any different than someone being backed into a bush or trying to take a placement in a bush, and then you may say to the guy next to you, "Oh, hey, is my foot good?" Like you'll ask that ahead of time before you throw. So I mean, it's kind of along that same line. You don't want to break a rule, and you're looking for verification.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, after me being asked so many times this weekend, I was kind of annoyed.
All right.
And I like the guy a lot. That's not the point. I was just annoyed that I had to keep answering it, and I kind of was like,
sure.
I don't know.
Here's something I've thought of, and maybe it's part of the whole step putt, jump putt thing. What if there was a rule change 30 or 50 feet that says you can have, I guess you couldn't really do that. I was going to say you can't have any part of your body in front of the mini. But you can't really do that.
No supporting point.
No, I know, but I'm saying, what if the rule change was you can't have any part of your body in front of the mini? But that doesn't really work because your arm. Because your arm. I didn't think about that. I was thinking like your feet.
My hair would hang over.
Yeah, or your feet have to maintain behind the mini or something stupid along those lines. But just it would eliminate the whole step putt. It would eliminate all that question. But I frankly don't care. Personally,
yeah, I don't either.
People get all up in arms, and there was a discussion obviously we had last week with slowing it down and are they really hitting it and this and that, and it's not my concern. The rules at this point in my life are they're further down the list than the concerns of disc golf for me.
Sure. Sean Babel is asking, what's this 50-foot thing you're hearing? The American Disc Golf Tour has implemented that 50 feet is in fact their putting circle, where in the PDGA it's 10 meters, roughly 32 point some odd feet, 32 feet some odd inches. But at the American Disc Golf Tour events, plural, event, it is at 50 feet. Mm-hmm. So that's what we're discussing. There's nothing in the PDGA, nothing about it happening, nothing along those lines. Just at this one event, it's at 50 feet. So that's what the conversation is about.
I mean, I would have no problem. I guess I would have no problem if the PDGA changed a rule.
Jake, you're wrong. It's not 33.3.
It's 10 meters.
10 meters. Yeah, you're thinking yards?
Yeah, you're thinking he's closer to 10 yards because that would be 33 feet.
Yeah. No, Jake, it's 32 point something. Somebody can Google it. I don't got time. It's 32 point something. 32 feet and something. Go ahead, type it in.
I've got Google.
I bet you somebody 32.8 feet. Somebody has already got it.
Yep.
Not 33.8.
32.8084.
So 32 point. What is it?
32.8084.
So there you go. So
yeah, but it's. I mean, that's not uncommon. A lot of people think say, oh, it's
a lot of people say 30 feet.
Yeah, a lot of people say 30 feet.
I think that's the number one mistake.
And a lot of people think it's, they just think yards. They think, oh yeah, it's 33 feet, and 33 feet's fine because it's close enough where no one's going to care.
You're talking literally about the difference of a mini there.
Yep.
30 feet is definitely
that's a lot bigger of a difference.
Yes.
No, I was thinking, what if the PDGA, I'm going to spitball here, had a rule that just flat out said, after your drive, not including your drive, but no part of your body can go in front of the, can fall.
Mm-hmm. That's been talked about.
Yeah.
No, that's been talked about before.
Or
fairway shots.
Yeah, you have to maintain.
Yeah.
For fairway shots, that would include jump putts. That would include, basically everything then. So.
Yeah. No, that I know has been talked about.
Yep.
I know I've had that conversation before, which would be one way to eliminate it.
Yep.
As to, what you can or can't do, and it would, get rid of the whole jump putting. Mm-hmm. Some people are jump putting at 100 feet. Some people are, whatever.
Yeah.
So that would be one.
I'm just saying this. I'm a jump putter. Anything outside of like 50 feet, I tend to give a little hop when I throw. I push off my legs, throw the disc, and then the feet come up, assumingly. But who knows?
One thing that I feel is a fallout that no one's really discussed quite yet that I think of. didn't we see in the American Disc Golf Tour that there are no warnings?
Correct.
So in theory, if you jump putt,
Yep. If you make the mistake, unless now the question is, will they circle off 50 feet?
Which-
because you almost have to, because
One
all
would
these
assume they
players
will.
are so used to 30 feet, having to
33.
eyeball 50. Yeah, 30, 33. It's so easy to say 30 feet.
I
It
know,
is.
I know.
They're so used to eyeballing that, pushing it back to 50. That's a totally different mindset and just
distance,
and
odd
distance.
distance.
You don't, there's a. You're not going to know if it's 45 versus
We've
50.
got to
probably.
assume. I mean, you can place your bets on all sorts of things regarding the American Disc Golf Tour. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say they are going to mark that's what they're enforcing is a 50-foot putting circle. They're going to mark a 50-foot putting circle. That's what if I were a betting man, which I am, I would bet on that. And if they don't, I will have negative things to say, because that would be crazy if they didn't, in that case, mark the 50-foot circle.
Sure.
So I think you're going to see it. And that you have to mark your disc on the back of the disc instead of the front, which is also an interesting.
Is that true?
Yeah, it was read somewhere.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was interesting. So anyway, that's what you're going to see.
I mean, it makes sense. You have your disc there. You put the back of your mini along the back of the disc. You pull the disc out, and then you put your mini down. So technically, the back side of your disc is always, or you can set it and slide it out or
It's gonna
something.
be-
Or you put you just flat out put the mini behind the disc. You're losing, a couple inches there.
9
but
inches.
yeah.
Hmm.
So
Well, anyway, I thought was interesting is if there's no warnings and somebody then does jump putt.
Kevin says tail marking in 2017 is a rules proposal.
Oh, I do not see any advantage to that.
No, I see no
Other than sheer confusion.
Well, not sheer confusion. It could clear up that age-old issue of people getting confused when, hey, my disc lands right up on the tree. How do I mark that? You either leave the disc there, or what if I want to mark it? Can I mark it in front of the tree?
Yes.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
But people don't realize that. Like
Yeah,
we just heard on Disc Golf Answer Man, Paige Bjerkes didn't know that. She's a professional. It's one of those rules. So tail marking might make things easier until your disc tails around a tree and it's backed up to a tree. Then the
Yeah,
backside is on a tree.
exactly.
So it's I don't know.
Kevin,
or give the option.
yeah,
maybe.
maybe Kevin, who's on the PDGA board, he's also out here listening in on the podcast. I would love to know if you could enlighten us here in our chat room as to the advantages or the reasoning behind tail marking, as you're calling it, as to why it would be proposed and what would be the significant advantage to rewriting that rule.
He says it creates only one lie, and I don't understand that. I don't understand what that means. The mini is dead.
Well,
so you can step on your mini then?
No, I'll say this. What he means is when you right now you walk up to your mini, and this is all PDGA play, so here's little rules info. When you walk up to your disc, you can play it where it lies,
Correct.
which effectively is the tail, which gives you, if you mark at or you just play it from there, you can take up to 30 centimeters.
Yep.
30 centimeters, which is roughly a foot,
Yep.
just short of. Roughly 30 centimeters directly behind that. If you could mark your mini,
giving you possibly
giving you that extra 9
9
inches. So that's where it's creating some variation in a lie.
Sure.
That's what I guess.
So you would have to go back to the rule where then you have to mark your disc, right?
No, I think they're saying you would either.
So instead of
that doesn't make sense either, though, because then you have to stand behind your mini and your mini lengths. Your mini.
Yeah. So instead of having two lies of, you're losing, we'll just say 9 inches. Now you're only losing 3 inches. I don't know. There's just still.
I would. Yeah. Sorry.
Terry says, or Kevin says Terry is correct, but
well, we knew that, Kevin. But what do you know?
Kevin says he's not a fan, but it is gaining steam. I just don't see a point in it. You basically will always play behind your disc. Okay. So you either play right behind your disc or you play a mini's worth behind your disc. That's still
but
technically
I feel like the leading edge of the disc is as far as you got.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I agree.
So I don't know. I'll say right now, there's not enough of a good.
I'm gonna start throwing a lot more tomahawks. They spike in, so I
Yeah.
get that extra.
I'm just gonna go. Yeah, I don't see there is no need for that to create the confusion and to flip what's been done for the 20 or 30 years for a rule that's. I feel like we have a lot of bigger issues than that one.
Yeah, I don't think it necessarily. Yeah, I don't think it necessarily improves anything.
Yeah, because as you're saying, I mean, but it's Kevin. I guess I kind of disagree a little bit in that it says it creates only one lie. It kind of doesn't, because you're still going to have.
Yeah, you're either mark. Let's just say you don't mark your disc
like
and you're
you said,
playing
you're
behind
gonna
it.
lose the 3
you're
inches,
gonna, or
or
you
you're gonna
mark it. You're gonna lose the 3 or 4 inches, whatever the size of your mini is.
But if you put down your mini, you've got on the tail, on the back end, you put down your mini, you still have 12. So it's still 2 different lies.
It's still 2 different lies.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
I know.
I don't know. Whatever. Sorry if.
Why not just make it so you can literally mark your disc
anywhere around the
disc?
I'd throw a condor all the time because it's got a large.
I've got one of those really big.
Yep,
They're might not be PDGA approved.
I'd throw an Ultra Star. Those are PDGA approved.
Yeah.
I mean, that gives you so many. My little legs.
Yeah.
They're little scrunchy, tiny legs.
And a nice wooded shot that could help out quite a bit.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, thank you, Rick. We're gonna move on, but that. Not a fan. Just so many more worthwhile pressing issues than worrying about that, in my opinion. I think we should move on to New Hampshire. Big stuff going on there last night. I'm just kidding. Totally
Tonight,
kidding.
right?
I thought it was what? No.
Yeah, I was this yesterday. I honestly don't know.
We're going to show some of our ignorance here.
That's the funny.
I thought it was last night.
Was it? Okay.
Maybe not. I don't know. Shows how on top of
breaking. No, it must be today because breaking news: Trump and Sanders get key primary victories.
I know, but they announced that way earlier.
Did they? Okay. So was the voting yesterday, and they pretty much announced the winners today? I don't know.
That was my
I literally drove all day yesterday, so was whatever in the car, so I didn't get a chance to see anything. So yay. Whatever.
Yeah, the American Tour does in fact require
requires you to.
You can still have 11 inches, but the back of your disc is the lie. Not a fan of either, but the rules guys are anal about the rules. So yeah. Anyway, all right, we'll move on from other things that aren't politics or the.
No, we have no interest in getting to a politics podcast
or the American disc golf. Ooh, Scott had reached out to us about winning. He said he filled out the form as requested, but he just wanted to know that if you can't ship to Canada for some reason, then he will give us an address in Phoenix that we can ship to.
Oh,
he'll be down there for the memorial. Well, in that case, they could just, depending on what you won again. Oh, no, you won the... We'll figure out what you won, but depending on what you won, yeah, if Keith has it there at the shop, he'll just hold on to it. So that's a good way to do it. If you don't mind, that would be the easiest way to probably do it. Just have you come into the shop. So, no, he won the Gator, so that's from Idaho.
Bum, bum.
All right, Scott. We'll get you taken care of, buddy. We appreciate it. All right. What if you want to throw that disc? Okay, the mini is dead. Does that mean... What about OJ? Yeah.
What about the OJ miniseries? I heard, honestly, I'll say this. I've heard really good things about the OJ miniseries.
Does he kill someone in that one too?
Yes. He is. They say the one weird thing is that
he gets off scot-free.
Do you know who plays OJ?
Plexico Burris.
No, Cuba.
Oh,
Cuba Gooding Jr. They say that's the one kind of weird thing that a lot of the actors that they picked are pretty good, spot on, and not that Cuba's not a good actor, but that he's just such a smaller guy than OJ was,
sure.
that there's not like this menacing presence that OJ kind of had.
Sure.
It's not as, we'll say, scary as, the giant football player when you're,
yeah, 5'6",
yeah,
$180,
and a buck
$160.
if that, yeah. So, but I've heard good things. I'm not going to watch it. I'll never watch it. I'm not going to pretend to say I'm going to watch it, but I heard it's decent.
Huh. That is interesting. Chris, good night, pal. You said great job, guys. Broncos Nation salutes you. I was going to go back and see exactly what I said last week. I was pretty certain that I said I'd like to see Manning go out on top.
Yep, we both said that.
And I don't remember if I said, but I think Carolina will win.
We both said that.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
And
how dead wrong we were.
flat out wrong. Yeah,
Yeah.
I watched the Super Bowl up at a place called Billy Bob's up in Tomahawk, Wisconsin.
Oh, I thought that was in Arkansas.
It was not in Arkansas, and had a lot of fun. And our table, as many saw, as I posted on Facebook, our table won like $150 in some bar pool that we joined while we were there. And we bought shots for the whole bar, which was only $50 because it's up north pricing. So
Northern Wisconsin.
northern Wisconsin beer
Yonder hay pricing
pricing,
up there. Day here.
and it was what a boring game. I think our podcasts are a little more exciting than that football game. And the commercials weren't very good either.
Nothing. Did you? Yeah, that could have been picks of the week. But any one commercial stick out for you that you enjoyed?
I'm trying to think. Yes, and I can't think of what it is. It's funny.
Wow, they nailed it.
Funny as that is. But I remember sitting there going, "Oh, this is like the best commercial I've seen so far." And I can't even recall what it was.
It was a little early on for me.
The Wiener Dog one was good. It was a catch up.
Right. Yeah. I like the Doritos one, and that's not saying much because I didn't think it was that great. But the Doritos ultrasound, he's got a Dorito and he's swinging it back and forth, and his wife or girlfriend, whatever, is getting an ultrasound, and the baby's like following the Dorito outside of her stomach, and then she throws the Dorito and the baby comes out. Of course, that got politicized, as did every other commercial that was out there, but. I cannot get on, maybe just because I'm anti-Mountain Dew on my non-Mountain Dew kick, but the puppy monkey baby did not do it for me. It was definitely, I'd say it's the most talked about commercial.
Yeah, but I think because it was relatively bad.
I didn't care for it, and a lot of people did. So that was a month. Oh, that was out a month before the Super Bowl. I guess I didn't realize that. Oh, which one was out? The Dorito one or the puppy monkey baby? Halftime show. That's a whole nother story about finding Beyonce's performance and offensive and not. There is some irony in some of the stuff that she did. Some good, some bad, whatever. Everyone's got their own take on that. My joke was that it looked like she got closer to the ground than
Cam did.
Cam Newton
on that fumble.
I did just see something, the release of him talking about it, the fumble afterward, and he was incredibly flippant about that fumble recovery or his lack of effort for it. He's like, "Oh, you can judge me, and blah blah blah. My teammates and everyone knows how hardcore I am. Blah blah blah." It just was such an awkward.
I'll say this. I think it looked worse than it really was, because it happens very fast. You could see that there's a really bad looking photo of like nobody around the ball and him just kind of him frozen there.
Sure.
But it's a photo, and if you watch that in real time, he makes a step forward and it collapses, like that whole pocket collapses on that football, and he kind of steps back, like he doesn't dive in there. But that happens so fast. I'm not going to fault him on that.
Yeah,
like it looks really bad, but you know what? And you think like, it's Super Bowl, dude, dive in there, fight for that ball.
And that's where he was
saying that
like,
his leg was,
his leg was
funny.
in a weird position, and my teammates know that I, blah blah blah. But then I also saw another quote that said, I'm not diving on that. I don't want to be injured, but I don't want to get hurt. But I don't know if that was out of context from something else.
No, and I know he was getting hammered for his post game, basically making it look like he was kind of a crybaby.
Yeah.
But I did see something else that somebody asked him, not offensive, but somebody right before he left. I don't know if this is a reason why, but somebody asked him something like, "Can you even throw?"
Oh.
And so that was when he got up and left. And I don't know if it has anything to do with that.
Was that Chris Harris? Is that the name I saw attached to the guy?
I don't know.
Or is he from the other team?
So I mean, I think the Panthers are in general a better offensive team, but those defenses they were tough. They were really tough.
Kevin says it would have put his dabbing arm in jeopardy.
Yeah.
Again, I understand you can scrutinize and put every single move under a microscope every single second of every single player of every single game. And unfortunately, and that's what's happening at the Super Bowl. And I won't rant on too much about it, but it was there's just plenty of it to talk about, and the hand over the not having a hand over his heart at the anthem, and just all sorts of stuff. There's lots of interesting conversation that took place with her. I'll admit, now here's where it all came together, and I shared this with a friend. For me, and this is something I would have never thought about 2 or 3 or 5 years ago. For me, one of the most interesting parts of the entire, once the game was done, the interesting part for me was, and I already forgot her name, but the reporter who has the job of interviewing Peyton Manning the second the game is done. And now as a guy who's had to share and to view and to broadcast some of the most important moments in disc golf in the last 2 years that we've seen and broadcast to the world, I don't get nervous often about much in the world, but not effing up that final interview is the number one thing on my mind. Probably from the 16th hole in.
Sure.
I'm trying, like most things, I try to think of 1 or 2 questions, and the rest, I think of one question and hope that I can free flow from there. That's pretty much my style everywhere we go. But to think of this woman, yes, she's got an earpiece in, which adds challenges, doesn't necessarily make things easier. And she's a professional, far more professional than me, but she's on the biggest stage in the world. Possibly more viewers than anyone else will ever have on one person at one time as she's interviewing him, and 100% flawlessly conducts the interview. And it's still all of 2 or 3 questions, as they should be. That to me was like something I'm not mesmerized by, but I was watching. I was like,
I'll say this: I don't know what interview you're particularly talking about because I didn't see it, but I'm sure she has rehearsed those questions. She's probably given something beforehand saying, "Here's," because you're definitely talking to the quarterback no matter what of the winning team.
Yep.
Whether it's there's probably 3 questions that they say, okay, here are your Peyton Manning questions, or she comes up with them and runs them through, whatever.
Sure.
I don't want to discount the intelligence of the interviewer. She could come up with them, or they could be decided upon, and that's probably drilled into them. Like, this is what you're going to ask. This is what you're going to do. Get these questions, and if anything goes sideways, follow that. But here's what we want you to ask. Kind of thing. So you're prepared. So you're not stumbling and looking like a moron.
No, and like I said, for me, it's all about the first question. Just get the first question out that's logical, and then I'm going to know the player. I'm going to know the event. I should know the situation enough to then follow up with 1 or 2 after that. But anyway, that's something that I found incredibly compelling and at the same time mildly nerve-wracking, thinking just how important that moment is in our sport. Is once that final putt falls in, and once we rush the green, or and there's a little ease if they're actually going to a scorer's tent and then coming back to us. Then I have to fill time until we get back to us with the winner, and then maybe it's a little bit more relaxing. But when a Paul Macbeth drops in the putt at the USDGC, and I have to, and we're fighting at that time signal issues and darkness, but I have to approach him. I'm not gonna lie. That's the one time I get genuinely nervous when we're out doing stuff.
And someone asked, "Do your interview questions change from the next to last hole at USDGC to the last hole at UGC?"
Yeah, especially with the last couple of years.
Yeah.
No, and that's where I feel like, and that's what I was gonna say. You said about her questions. I would like to think she doesn't know football any better than I know disc golf.
Mm-hmm.
So she's going to be comfortable in what she's saying and what she's asking. And I'd like to say I'm going to be comfortable in what I'm saying and asking. It's just a matter of it's almost like that first question. That first question needs to get out, and it needs to be on point and quick and concise and easy. And I don't know. It's an interesting. So it's interesting to watch because we've seen post interviews not go well.
Yeah.
And I've conducted post interviews that don't go perfectly. I mean, I'm not claiming to be great.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a nerve-wracking moment, and whoever that woman was, I thought she was awesome, and I didn't even recognize her, but I don't follow enough football.
Yeah. And Tyler says, or they were fed into her earpiece. Possible, but my thought is it's probably pretty loud and
I'm
going
not
crazy.
I'm sure they are fed, but the problem is
I think she needs to know them, and whether she remembers or not, they could be fed. But I imagine, like I said, it's got to be pretty loud there. It might be tough to hear what's being fed into your earpiece. So I'm guessing that they may be fed, but she also has trained them or was given them right, when it's kind of determined, like, all right, these guys are gonna win, with 3 minutes left. It was pretty well determined that the Broncos were going to take that, because there's no way Panthers were going to score twice on that defense. It wasn't happening. Not the way Cam was playing, not the way the rest of the offense was playing, not the way Kotchery was dropping balls, not the way Ted Ginn was. It kind of went all downhill from there. So
she certainly had some time even. I mean, even after the last play, there's still, the handshakes in the middle of the field.
Yep.
I mean, she's got a full, minute or two to compose where she's going to go with it. And that's what I was going to say. When you talk about being fed in the ear, Johnny V and I, a little known fact, Johnny V and I are usually in communication. Usually he's in my ear via a phone call throughout the entire round. And we're communicating, and we have different ways to go about it. And we're in communication. Usually, as the last putt drops, I actually, for aesthetics, I want the earbud out of my ear, but I take the earbud out that's in my ear, and we end the call entirely.
Yep.
I don't want any chance of anything being said or going on in my ear that may disrupt my interview.
Yeah, I don't want, and that's one of the reasons that, we're on a conference call, and 90% of the time I'm muted, so that if you're trying to do commentary or conduct an interview, I don't distract you. And because we're not, she has an earpiece in, and maybe it's on and she's hearing things, and she's good enough where she can hear things and talk and listen. We're not at that level.
Yeah,
I'll say this: Terry's very good at what he does. I've never once, I don't think, said, I may have at one point said, don't forget to ask him about this. But other than that, your interviews are flat out you. From the minute that putt drops, you drop that earpiece, and then you go in at it. So
yeah, and it's just, and again, now becoming a more common Smashbox fact, I'm also deaf in one ear, so I don't want to have something in my one good ear when I'm trying to conduct an interview with someone. I don't want to risk not being able to hear what they're saying, so that I can continue to conduct a good interview. Maybe now's the time to get an earpiece. Maybe I should get one, a hearing aid.
Yeah.
Maybe it'd benefit me, but it'd benefit me for a number of reasons. But anyway, so a little behind the scenes stuff. I don't know if any of that interests all of our listeners out there, but that's some of the stuff that's going on when you're dealing with we'll say a relatively low budget operation that we are, and that we're operating from thousands of miles apart from one another.
Yeah, the advantage that like the Super Bowl and those guys have is she's being fed from a trailer that's probably just outside the stadium, and it's all wired, and that's some sort of high end equipment that they're using. They're not relying on cell phone signals.
Yeah, or other things. So that's something that like I said, that's what you see what happens when we end our shows.
We can't give up our secrets.
Oh yeah, all of our secrets.
Those are trade secrets, Terry.
There's a secret.
Cell phone
some
calls.
secrets in my head that they can not have. So very interesting. Hopefully you find that mildly interesting. But that's what's going on. However, I guess in hindsight, one thing to think about is maybe I should keep you there, and maybe you should keep yourself muted in the rare chance you have to tell me, hey, our signal's not good there.
Sure.
In the rare chance, and we usually talk about that ahead of time.
And 9 times out of 10, we've been to that position before.
Yeah, we know where to go.
We know where to go, because like at Maple Hill, we're very good because there's a weird dead zone right outside of hole 18 where we've run into in the past. And I don't know if it's because it's just a weird dead zone, if it's because there's a ton of people there, but the signal tends to drop, so we tend to pull the player away from that spot.
Exactly.
So most of the events we do now, we're pretty good on where we're going to be and things like that. So, the Ledgestone would be the only one that I think this year that we weren't sure about, because we didn't really have a chance to test. I mean, we tested the whole area, but you never know when you're going to run into a particular weird dead spot.
Yeah, and thankfully, where Simon was, and it was actually a really good spot to be, and there weren't any issues with it. But those are some of the things that are going into the concern. And I got to just try to not say anything dumb. I do that for like the 4 hours leading into it. And the last thing I want to do
you get all the dumb out, but you don't.
The last thing I want to do is end a live broadcast or a live show, or possibly the whole tournament, by saying something really dumb. So usually I try to stay out of that. The troubles because their Wi-Fi. Oh, just made me think about the ladies I overheard talking about who they got their Wi-Fi from and their trouble streaming Netflix because their Wi-Fi was slow. Yeah, I mean, there's factors around the course, and a place like Maple Hill is a great example where we're relying on certain Wi-Fi capabilities within the SAP house and other things. But then if the password is out there, or if too many people are accessing the important data stream that we need, you can directly impact us, and that's all part of some of the challenges that can happen on any
which is
given
one of the
place.
reasons why I mean that's one of the reasons I don't travel. I went to Maple Hill 2 years ago, I believe it was that?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yeah, excuse me while I yawn. 2 years ago, and trusted that Steve had he had 2 different cable connections, and one of which worked for the downstairs. It was attached to their credit card machine and whatnot. So I shared it with them, and it's tiny bits of data, but we shut off passwords and we changed things on him, and some of it we did and didn't run by him before I did it. But that's why I stay here, because I know I've got a stable environment. Worst case scenario, something happens here at my house, I've got an office 20 minutes north, 40 minutes south. I can go to either one of them if my Time Warner, my house loses power, or we're down for at worst 20 minutes, or at worst 40 minutes, at best 20 minutes, if I need to hightail it out of here. Thankfully, knock on some wood, that's never happened, and the odds of that happening are slim, but there's always the chance. It's always something in the back of my head. If I'm on site and something fails,
yeah, we don't really have a backup.
There's no backup to that. So
yeah, as noted on the board, and is correctly, I've already messaged on his wall. Paul Macbeth just noted on Facebook. He's tagged Jeremy Colling, Anthony Barella, and Nate Doss, and himself. That will be the first round of the Memorial Championship. # Let's Go. Let the hype train begin. # Memorial Championships 2016.
So does he carry Anthony's bag for this event too, or does Anthony carry his bag?
I don't know, but I just said # step inside the smash box.
That's right.
So cool. Somehow or another, the news got back to him, or he's probably sitting there listening like he does every Tuesday. Hi, Paul. How you doing?
He's a smashy.
Yes. The Amazing Race, that's something certainly we're talking about, and I'm not going to rub it in your face how right I am again about Brody Smith. But
now, yes, he's much bigger than I thought he would be. But do you think that's why he got on the Amazing Race?
Yes, because they did Internet Stars.
Is that what this is? Okay.
Yeah. So, honestly, I don't know if it's his brother or someone else, but
it'd be more interesting rather than Kurt Gibson if it was Kirk Gibson. I think that would be way more interesting.
But yeah, they did I believe it was Internet Stars is what they used, or YouTube. I don't know if it was YouTube Internet, I think was the term that I saw. But yeah, Brody's on it, and it was cool. He made a picture on a post on his Facebook that was his big face, because they did a commercial for it of the Amazing Race during the Super Bowl, and then he posted it to his Facebook. And talk about a dream come true. Your face is on the screen during Super Bowl. I don't care for what reason. That's something that's pretty cool.
Yeah. How come we're not on the Amazing Race? We're almost internet stars.
We would kill it.
We would totally kill it.
As resourceful as we are, and as well as we know one another. I think that's a good one. Someone's asking if it's going to be live at the Memorial. Of course it is. What kind of question is that?
Is what going to be live? The Amazing Race? I don't know. It depends when it's showing. But no, yes, the Memorial, we will be live, and we're looking at other things as well.
So you guys are so silly out there. All right, anything else out on the board? Yeah, it would be. Maybe we should start petitioning. Get on the or applying. I think you have to probably apply.
Yeah, well, we've said that for years and years.
But we have a podcast that has like hundreds of downloads.
It's got way more than that.
Well, we should let them know. I mean, if we could finally earn the title of #1 disc golf podcast, then we'd have a shot.
It's a mountain to climb. That is a mountain to climb.
I'm just saying, if we could get ourselves there one day or another. All right, we could probably start wrapping things up unless anybody's got anything super pressing that you haven't already presented.
Yeah, any questions? Nothing's off limits. I'm sure there's some things that are off limits, but most things are not off limits. I've watched the end of Ash versus Evil Dead. That was pretty good. I didn't love the way season 1 ended, but apparently the season 2 is coming in. So other than that, like, it was, I take it back. It's not that I didn't like it. It was different. It was definitely a surprise as to how it ended, and I'm looking forward to season 2. It's funny and it's extremely gory, like over the top.
Like with blood?
Way more than like intestines and blood, and it's extremely gory just for the fact that it can be gory, and I enjoy it. I think it's fun.
Huh. Never heard of it. I'll make the plug again. Go out, subscribe to the Disc Golf Pro Tour email list. That's the quickest and easiest way to find out about specially released discs and products. They're gonna, I think, be very diligent about kind of giving a sneak preview if you're on the email list. And of course, that's where you're going to see schedules released regarding live broadcasting. And there's just going to be a ton of good information that's going to come from that. So go out and subscribe. Steve Dodge is not a spammer of any kind.
No.
He's always really good with information. So go out and subscribe to the Disc Golf Pro Tour email or contact list. That's going to be a great resource for you guys. Go out and buy some stuff. Support Miles at Paragon. Go out here. I'll give you guys an update. We should have done it in the regular show, but I'd like to know, Johnny, just how many women are signed up for the U.S. or for the Women's Global event. I know our local one, Holly Finley, signed up for the one that I'm running here locally. She just did it today. That's what made me think of that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to search as to how many women are signed up globally. I know it was over 800 last time I looked. And it's the 2 weeks after Glassblown, 1 week after the national tour taking place in Kansas, the KC Wide Open, and the Women's Global event. That's not going to help me.
No. That's...
Registered players. Here we go. Dun, dun, dun. Take a guess.
Oh, God, I'm going to make a fool of myself. I'm going to go with 5. 502.
You don't listen to me. I just said I know it's over 800.
Oh.
You jackass.
No, I don't
You
listen to you
dick
sometimes
bag.
when I'm reading this.
You are a dick bag.
Yeah.
It is at 945.
945. That was going to be my second guess.
Yes.
I'll say this. I have an uncanny knack to be able to block you out if I'm doing other things,
Yep.
because I just assume you're not talking directly to me,
Mm-hmm.
and that you're more talking to the people that are out there. So
Yes,
it makes
Joe.
for much better radio. God.
Yes. So 945 people have women, not people. They're people too, but specifically they're women. Women children, people are currently registered, and that's going to go up by at least one. Like I said, I know Holly Finley signed up for our local event. She did it earlier today. So the DG Beat says, "Can I get a letter of support for a disc golf proposal from Smashbox, the #1 disc golf?" I don't know if we have that title. I'm not sure.
We do
can
now.
write those.
DGB gave it to us.
Oh, I'm not sure.
I think that's all it needs. That's all it's required.
Well, I'm gonna have to throw away all our old letterhead that says not #1.
Yeah. Well, we'll get over it.
So a letter of support. Mom and Dad comes out. Okay. How many spotted cows have you had? No
Zero.
alcohol.
No alcohol.
Hashtag women are people too. Yeah, that's what I need going around.
Yeah,
out there tomorrow.
Terry says women aren't people.
Kevin, how many spotted cows have you have? Yeah, that wouldn't be. We're sober here. We're on that Zoe train.
That's right. Just water.
The Zoe train. Got a sampler and drank them all, and now I'm drinking Black Rocks. Okay, Kevin getting down.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good time. All right, I'd like to thank Mike Schwieger for also putting me up for the weekend. Him and his amazing wife, Melissa, had a great time up there in New London and Appleton. So thanks, Schwieger, if you're around, if you're listening. I appreciate it. All right, letter of the podcast.
Yes.
All right, unless you guys got something else, we're going to close this thing out.
We're going to shut her down for the night.
Just about the last possible time you can chime in with something.
That's right. I hope by next week I'll have seen the Deadpool movie.
You're planning on going this weekend?
I'm not sure. It depends. Depends what's happening with family. It's not a family movie. I'm not taking my kids.
You just love Ryan Reynolds.
That commercial that he was in was kind of funny.
That one. That was
with all the Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, I saw that the day before.
Yeah. Well, almost all the Super Bowl commercials
been
are
released.
available early now, but
Yeah.
So, yeah, that one wasn't bad.
You're just a huge fan of him.
I think he's funny. You think he's very funny.
That's the word you use.
It's quirky.
Coconut oil chocolate chip cookies.
There was
Good
there was a funny Instagram of Olivia Munn, who plays Psylocke in the new X-Men, and Psylocke is a sword wielding, just like Deadpool is, and it looks like it's taken almost down the street, but I don't know, where she's done a ton of training for this, and she's whipping this sword all around, like crazy.
That's CGI.
Crazy skills. And then they pan over to Ryan Reynolds, who's got like an inflatable balloon. He's got a pokes her, and so it was mildly humorous. Just shows that the amount of skill that she has now with that weapon. So,
I just actually mentioned this last night. I'm fully excited for Fuller House at the end of the month.
Yeah, I assumed you would be. That's right up your alley.
It totally is. Whatever happened to predictability?
You think they'll use the same theme song?
Oh God, yeah. They'd be silly not to.
There might be rights to it. You don't know what's going on with certain rights of certain songs.
Yeah,
there's a lot of movies that, if you watch them on Netflix or even somewhat on DVD, the soundtrack is changed and things like that because they don't get streaming rights to certain songs.
Oh, okay.
Like, I think it's the Wonder Years. If you can go out and buy the whole set, but half the music is different or gone or changed. So, because they didn't back then, they never thought of, hey, let's get our DVD rights for these songs, and so they can't put it out there. So, yeah. So I'm just saying, I don't know yes or no. Maybe it'll be a cover. How do I know? It's not. It's nothing I'll be watching.
Yeah,
This doesn't interest me. I mean, it's funny and all, but we'll see.
Oh, it's
the
Scott
song
says,
is remade. Watch the trailer.
Wow.
Thanks, Scott.
Same song, just done differently.
So,
well, it's got to have are we no longer still Skrillex and a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know.
I don't know where you're going with this.
Either do I.
And I'm
I
listening.
Don't know. I'm gonna yeah. This time you are. I'm gonna end it there. All right. So for our regular show, we had all those amazing guests. Go back and listen. It'd be weird if you're listening to this and didn't already listen to the regular show. But we again want to thank Keith and Ben. JRay.
We thanked everybody. We thanked him again already.
Are we?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to thank him again. So for Johnny and me and everyone else, you can never be too thankful.
Yeah. We didn't even talk about the PDGA player code of ethics, which
we'll put it on put it on for next week.
We'll put it on for next week.
That's a good idea. Sure. Looks good. Good job. I like it. Family Matters reunion. Can I do that? All right. For all of us here at Smashbox, we'll see you guys next week for podcast 74. We need a special guest. We'll have to get one for 74. We'll see you then when you step inside the Smashbox.